Podcast, and we're coming to you live. We're going to be doing a lot of talking about different things right now. We want to talk about Bethesda being acquired by Microsoft, and then we're going to get to Valhalla news, and then we're also going to go off topic like we always do. So, anyway, let's start it off. Honestly, like, what do you think right now of the whole acquisition of Bethesda by Microsoft?
At this very moment in time, being realistic with yourself, I don't play many Bethesda games. I do own some Doom games, but I'm not massively what you would call a Bethesda player. So this per se is not going to affect me. But if these games go exclusive or have timed exclusivity to Game Pass, then I believe a lot of PS4 players are going to feel this.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's going to be Microsoft and PC, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't think... see, this is what I keep telling people is, like, I really don't think... And the CEO of Bethesda actually said something about that. He actually said something to the effect that, like, you know, the games are not going to be exclusive. But, you know, like, we all know how that goes. Like, you know, they'll say something like that, and then it actually does end up being an exclusive or whatever. But... like, in all honesty, like, I'm not convinced. Like, if you look at Mojang was acquired by Microsoft mid Minecraft and everything. Like, when Minecraft was, you know, basically like in its glory days. Like when it first came out, it was like the wildest thing. Everybody was on Minecraft, and you know, of course, Microsoft acquired them, but you know, they were not exclusive. They ended up being on, you know, like, the PlayStation, you know, like the Switch.
PlayStation just got Minecraft VR from Microsoft, for God's sake, you know.
Yeah. That's going to be wild when the VR comes out, or when the VR version comes out. Like, I honestly can't wait for that.
I do believe it's out. I think it's out now.
Is it? I'm going to have to check it out. I thought it was like later on.
Here's the thing for you though. Maybe Elder Scrolls and stuff like that wouldn't be exclusive, but you just come out here, right, and you drop 7.5 billion, not in stocks or bonds or anything like that, but you drop that on as cash. You know, that's basically what they said. It was a cash deal, 7.5 billion. Are you really going to take nothing for yourself in that deal and let everything go multi-plat? Like, it's a good idea to let everything go multi-plat, especially on PlayStation. They don't have Game Pass. They're going to get the full $70 for the game. Xbox users get the games through Game Pass. It's a bit cheaper for them. But surely you want to keep something for yourself. I mean, you make Doom exclusive to Xbox and PC. I know a lot of PS4 players that will buy an Xbox for that.
I mean, I'm getting them all regardless. Like, that's my job. You know what I'm saying? I have to get all these systems.
Yeah,
I have to do comparisons. I have to play them all. I have to see what the different versions are and stuff like that. And you know, like, I do actually enjoy that. You know what? It's a lot of fun, especially, you know, like in Doom they have that thing. They have the challenges every week. You know, like, if you use me as a booster, you get points added to your thing. And you know, like, I enjoy doing that. You know, like, a lot of people, you know, they enjoy seeing me do that, and they rely on those points, you know, those booster points. But you know, like, I don't think, again, that this will be, like, you know, just exclusive. Maybe they'll get an exclusive. They were talking about what was it, New Vegas Part 2. Now,
well, they own Obsidian.
yeah. So they were talking about New Vegas Part 2, which, you know, that would be cool. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see something like that.
Well,
but what's happening in Anubis? What's happening in Wrecked?
It does seem to be the most popular Fallout between all the Fallout fans.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you it is.
And, you know, Microsoft now owns Fallout. Okay, it's a Bethesda Game Studios game, but I mean, Jesus, I mean, Microsoft owns the IP. Surely they can just take it from one studio and hand it to the other and go, do you know what, lads? Away you go.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you want to do that? Do you want to mess up the formula?
Well, yes, because they make better games and they're not as buggy.
Well, I don't know. Obsidian, I was really on board with the Outer Worlds initially. I got bored with it.
Well,
I got bored with it, and I was questioning my eyesight because I was like, why does this just look like a freaking Crayola crayon box vomited all over the landscape? Like, it really did. It got to a point where, you know, like, everything was, I know it's supposed to be alien worlds and everything, but you know, there were times where, like, I was wondering if the shading was correct and everything like that. You know, put it on my Xbox as well, just to see if it was like you know, like a difference between the PlayStation versus Xbox, and it really wasn't. It was just that weird. It was just, I don't know. I really wasn't impressed with it. I was like, you know, this is, you know, even the story like kind of drug on, and it just didn't feel complete. It felt weird. And then there was no DLCs for it. You know, they had no plans for it. Like they just gave up on it or something. So if you're doing a game like that, you know, you know, like I'll leave that behind. But
I mean, let's be honest, Joe. If Microsoft comes out and goes, Xbox, the place to play ZeniMax games exclusively, right? I mean, Microsoft comes out and says that. That's a big problem for Sony.
That's true.
You know, that is a big problem for Sony, because all of a sudden you've got every single Fallout player, every Doom player, every person waiting on Starfield just immediately turn their gaze to Xbox. And
PC.
If you look, and PC, and let's be honest, it's cheaper to get an Xbox than it is to build a PC.
Yeah, but overall, like if you've got a PC, if you got the money to initially build your PC, then by the time you get through building that PC, it's cheaper just to keep upgrading the PC. What you spend on an Xbox or a PlayStation or both or one or whatever, you know, like accessories, things like that, you get just a really good rig, and you could just keep upgrading it, updating it.
And that's fine, or you could buy a £450 PlayStation 5 with a disc drive, or you could waste £1,500 on an NVIDIA bloody graphics card. You know, I mean, it's entirely up to you. You know, buy yourself your PS5, your PS5 digital, your S and your X, and you've probably still got change left over.
Right. Well, I've defended the PC players, because, you know, like they, right away they're going to come on, and PC Nation is going to, you know, like.
You know, but you have to say, if you want the best of PC is expensive. You know, the monitors, the 120 Hz monitors, 4K HDRs are not cheap. The graphics cards are not cheap. I mean, if you want a state-of-the-art PC, you're talking $6-7 grand.
Right.
You know, you get your PS5 you get your PS5 or your Series X at launch for, you know, £450 for us essentially, and you're essentially getting that tier of quality. You know, these games are meant to run at 120 frames a second. Now, okay, I'm not naive. That means these games at 120 frames a second will probably be running at 1080p. Because they're not powerhouse consoles, they're consoles.
Right.
You know, and it's one of those things where PC is always going to be better, but I mean, for the average player, they're going to go straight and pick up an Xbox if they want their Bethesda game. They're not going to go out and build a PC or spend 12 grand when they can spend £300-400.
That's true. What's up, Robert? And what's up, Nicole? Got a lot of people joining in all of a sudden. Yeah, it's just, you know, but my thing is, you know, like honestly, like I could see them getting some exclusives, and that's fine. And Xbox really, I mean, they deserve exclusives. They haven't had a lot of exclusives. But right now, I don't want to hear all my Xbox players all of a sudden saying, "Oh, we got exclusives," you know, because for the longest time.
You don't. And you need to understand, this is what's different between Microsoft and Sony. Sony has originally designed their IP. They don't just come out with games that are owned by other companies. They create their IP. They put 6-7 years of development into these games. Look at Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us. All these games that are made by Sony are original IP. Microsoft is essentially just buying up companies for their games. At least this is how I look at it. You know, people say we don't have games. Well, let's just buy all the games.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Yeah, I'm keeping safe, Nicole. We all are.
And my problem is, are we going to get to a point where Microsoft has market dominance because it's flashing its cash and is just buying everything up? You know, we've got the rumour of Microsoft now acquiring Bungie, which people are talking about today. Even though Pete Parsons says it's not true, how many business owners say things aren't true until they're confirmed?
Oh, exactly. Right after.
You know, and I think, personally, you know, I think it would be a good move for Bungie to go back to Microsoft. It's an unlimited amount of money. It's the chance to work on Halo again. Halo's never been the same since Bungie left. I mean, everybody can say that. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that.
Yeah, if you go back, just like Valhalla, if you go back to a return to form, with what you had, people are more receptive to it. So I really do think that would be the smart move. I think that that Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda was a smart move, but you know, like as far as like all the other studios they bought up, like they bought up a ton of studios, and you know, none of those studios have anything to show for it, you know. So well, like what they should have done was they should have targeted specific studios, not just you know, target people and say, okay, you know, this is what they might produce, you know, like you really should have seen what they've got in development, and you know, how long is it going to take before this is ready, you know.
Well, Phil Spencer said, I mean, he sat down with Major Nelson, not Keith Parsons, I forget the guy's name, and was it Rod Howard?
Right.
The ginger guy. They sat and had a little conversation, and they were discussing about games being exclusive on a base by base sort of scenario. This is what I was thinking. You have your major multiplats that sell, your Fallouts, your Dooms. You keep them multiplat, but look how many studios they actually acquired through ZeniMax.
Right.
You let those two major companies that carry, you know, do Fallout and Doom stay multiplat, and you take the rest of them and you make them exclusive first-party game makers. Mm-hmm. You get the value of the money, plus you get two of the most popular games on other platforms to help make up the rest of the money. Because as PlayStation players and PC players have all got, unless you're on Game Pass of course, so it's more as PlayStation players, aren't going to get Game Pass and get away with just paying a subscription to play the game in under 2 weeks and not have to pay full price. We're going to have to pay that full £70.
Right.
You know, so Microsoft I think would be stupid to leave that market open and just go, no, we're keeping it all ourselves, because they'll make that money back faster by at least letting two of those studios do their multiplats.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna make that money back, you know what I'm saying? Especially like, you know, every sale that's made, you know, like it's kind of like trickling up, you know, like if same thing with like Mojang, they sold or they bought Mojang allowed, you know, Minecraft to still be on you know, the Nintendo Switch and the PS5. The same thing, they created the Minecraft Dungeons, that's on all those things as well.
That was the most recent one.
Yeah, so, you know, and then, you know, like they licensed their thing to, what was the name of that company? The one that went under, that did like The Walking Dead, the Telltale. They licensed their stuff to Telltale to make like a story and everything for Minecraft, and they made money on that. And that, you know, that trickled up towards Microsoft. Like, they got a percentage of every sale.
Yeah, well, you've got the new Telltale studio now that's been formed, that's been doing all the updates for the games and trying to fix them and putting out remasters. I believe they're literally just called New Telltale. They've been trying to get all the original employees and stuff like that work there sort of hired and back in and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think there's been a new project from them yet.
Well, you know, we'll see. Like, there's still like a lot of time. Telltale was actually like a really good company and everything. Nobody acquired them though. Like, how did they come back?
Well, basically what happened is it had something to do with the final Walking Dead episode, or a couple of episodes, where they got shut down before they could complete the game. So I don't know I only know roughly the story, but I do believe another game studio out there decided to take on the challenge to finish it for the fans. So all the stuff was transferred to them. They put their own money into it, I believe. They hired some of the key personnel that had been sacked in to do it. And then from what I understand, they ended up just acquiring all of it, and then they've just turned themselves into New Telltale, and they're just restarting it all.
But well, that I could see that.
I would have to look into it more, but I mean, like I says, that's the rough story that I heard, and this was a good couple of years ago, this story was.
No, I could see that. I could see something like that.
And they're definitely doing something, because they updated my... was it the Batman game? The first Batman one they put out? That updated only a couple of months ago on me, so they are doing stuff.
Wait, so they updated... I've got that. What was the update? What was involved in that?
I believe, see, they updated it. I believe there was a couple of crashes in it that they fixed, but they also put a special edition on the store which gives the second Batman episode like a black and white sort of shading to it. So you can play through it in different shades and shaders and stuff like that, and make it. It's meant to have a couple of extra scenes added to it, but they've been trying to squash the bugs that were always sort of a constant in all the other games.
Oh.
Because what one I've got the Walking Dead one. I can't remember which one it is, but if I have all the episodes installed, I crash at the dinner table at the first episode. So I have to play through the first episode and then like install episode 2, play through that, install episode 3, play through that, or the game just crashes and crashes and crashes if it's all together as one.
Yeah, see, JP7 Plays just said that that's what he heard also with JP. You're talking about the what's going on with Telltale. Because I find that interesting. Like if they're doing something like that's got to be pretty wild. Like something really does have to be done about this stuff.
Well, they were definitely trying to rehire all the original staff, or at least they got in contact with them and offered them all jobs. Because obviously the way they looked at it is you know, this is their IPs. This was an awful thing that happened to them. Their boss essentially just walked in one morning and went, right, people, we're shutting down. Get out. You've got an hour.
Huh.
You know, I mean, it was a real sad situation.
Right. That's kind of wild. No, the way that these game studios like they react and stuff like that is kind of crazy. Like, what do you think with the pandemic? Like, I mean, these game studios are still going strong. They're still like kind of like essential workers. They're working from home. They're doing their thing and whatnot.
Well, I think they're doing the best they can, and you've got to give credit to the game studios. The amount of money that must have been spent alone just to set these people up at home, to give them everything they needed to work from home, the PCs that they needed, the tablets that they needed to get into meetings. You know, the amount of setup and the amount of cost to these game studios just to do that. And you have people out here complaining about delays.
Oh yeah, like the Final Fantasy VII, the remaster.
Yeah, I mean,
people are complaining about that a lot.
Yep, and it's, why are you complaining? Like, it's like these people are sitting at home, they're trying to make, you know, your favourite game while their bloody dog is pissed on the floor next to them. He's got to go quickly clean that up because he can't sit next to it all day, and then at 3 o'clock the baby's going to go running into the room because mum goes for a pee.
Yeah,
it's like these people are really having to do a lot of work, and I think, you know, you have all this talk of crunch and stuff at the moment. Is it really crunch if you're doing it from home? Because your wife can come in and give you a cuddle and you can see your kid very quickly while you're making the game. Like, as long as nobody on the outside sees anything, then can you call it crunch?
You know what? What I think, though, is that, like, people are misunderstanding. Like, they're taking advantage because they're like, well, you're at home, so there's no reason why you can't produce this game this quickly and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, that's not the case. Though. You know, they're people too, you know?
Well, Destiny Beyond Light got delayed by 2.5 months because of this. It should have been out now. It should have been out, I think, an entire week now, but we've got another a month and a bit to go. So, I mean, it got delayed by about just under 2 months because of all this, because all of Bungie's working from home.
Yeah, I believe it. A lot of these places are working from home, and you know, like it should. I don't think people should be complaining about the delays and everything, especially like now. You know,
because they're still pushing content out.
Exactly.
Like, look at you're still getting your battle passes. You're still getting your new maps. With Destiny, you're still getting. Okay, they've had to stretch the season by 1.5 to 2 months. But okay, that everybody who's complaining about that, just look at that. You've got an extra 1.5 to complete that bloody battle pass. So go play a different game for a while. Go and experience something new, and then come back in a couple of weeks and do another 10 levels.
That's what I say. That's kind of like ridiculous that people get like upset and everything like that. But you know, like I don't know. As gamers, you know, like people they want to get to it first. They want to, you know, like play it now. They don't understand like what the delay is and stuff like that.
I mean, me as a dad, I would hate to have to work from home. I would get nothing done.
Yeah. Well,
you know, with the kids running in and out and having to do dinner and help with homework and all this other stuff, your work would just, you know, of course things are going to take longer to get done. It's called the human condition.
Yeah, JP7 Play says, and are they really working the hours? It naturally will take longer, including communicating between everyone. That's very true. Yeah.
I mean, CD Projekt Red's come under fire this week because they've got 6 weeks of crunch to do. they've got to work a 6-day week instead of a 5-day week.
Right.
And I just laughed at that when I heard that. I was like, wow, it's 1 month. It's not like they're having to do it for 6 months or a year. It's 1 month.
Right.
And they're getting paid the bloody hours for doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure there's some pretty big ass bonuses at the end of getting this game out.
Oh yeah, once it like produces and it does well and everything, there's bonuses all around. Can't tell me there
It's
ain't.
like, you know, the world's got to keep revolving. People got to keep working. If they don't, the world crumbles. Well, the gaming industry does anyway.
Right. We don't need that to happen again. I'm looking at you, ET and Atari.
Here, dude, it's the only thing that keeps me sane these days is gaming. My kids do my nutting, so I escape to my video games. I put the VR visor on and climb Everest.
Yeah, JP7 is like, people act like life isn't different. They've been delaying games a lot even prior to COVID. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They have delayed, but now, you know, like COVID is the excuse, you know, and in some cases, you know, you got to cut them some slack. In other cases, you know, like maybe they are taking advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, Phil Spencer said it best himself about about 6 months ago. You know, games will be delayed due to COVID, but this year you'll see a few, but you're not going to start feeling it until the next 1 or 2 years when you realise all the games that were in year 1 production are now only really 2 or 3 months in.
Right, right.
You know, and that's a brilliant way to put it, is the delays now are good. You wait and see the next 2 years of next gen. I guarantee you, when it comes to well, maybe not Xbox because they're dry as anything anyway. But with PlayStation, I think in year 2 you're going to see maybe only 1 or 2 exclusives hit instead of the 3 or 4 you would normally get.
Right.
You know, because it's going to affect everybody.
That's true. That's true. They are making like some, you know, like progress and everything like that, but then there's some like delays and whatnot. You know, yeah, that's my job too every day, JP. Like
But you've also got to take into account how fast is the person's internet at home. When you're at work, you've got a 1,000 megabyte bloody speed limit going all between all these workstations. At home, you're limited to your download and upload.
That's very true.
You know, so that obviously adds time to, you know, somebody trying to upload an entire level map in 4K textures from home who's just finished all the artwork's got to sit there and it takes 12 hours for him to upload because he's got 3 meg upload speed, you know?
Well, that's why, like, in my house, like, I made sure I got, like, the most tip-top freaking internet that I could get because, you know, like, I've got work to do. I've got videos to make. I've got, you know, like, content to produce. I have editing to do. And then, you know, like, my son, he's got, you know, like, his video games. He's got to go carry his team in Fortnite and stuff like that. And then, you know, like, Lady Strider, she's doing her thing and whatnot. So, like, we definitely need, you know, like, the best internet I could find around here. But, you know, not everybody has that. You know, some people, you know, they might have the same company. They think that they've got the top internet, but, you know, it's really not. It's like absolute crap. Yeah. Like a good friend of mine works for Verizon Fios. He's always trying to sell me Fios.
Well, for me, I mean, where I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I get 35 megabyte download, and I get about 6 meg upload.
Wow.
Now, if I go back 3 years, I was getting 16 meg download, and I believe we were only getting about 2 meg upload. And that's
the other thing is, like, I don't know how it is in other places, but I know here in the United States, like, whenever you got something where it's like a work from home situation, what happens is the company lets you use your internet or whatever, and then they just pay a portion of like your electric bill and whatever and stuff like that. Just only a portion. They won't pay the full thing. They won't pay, you know, like a big chunk. They pay a portion, what they believe your work is using.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So like Lady Strider works at a bank. They were talking about, you know, like working from home, and I said, well, they need to pay like a portion of this bill then, you know, because like, you know, but not that we need the money, but you know, like that's just fair. You know what I'm saying? Like in my eyes, at least, you know.
Yeah, I get that. So what else did Microsoft acquire by getting Bethesda? Obviously, they got Doom, they got Fallout. They got Doom, they got Fallout, they got the Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls, honestly, like that would hurt. I'm a big Elder Scrolls fan.
You know, so I mean, I'm getting all the systems anyway, but like that's a biggie. I think anybody who's not on Xbox or PC is going to feel that. Doom. What else did they get? I'm not sure about all the other IPs. Obviously, Outer Worlds because they own Obsidian. You know, like just a couple of different games.
Yeah,
but
they've got a good 22 studios under the belt now. It'll be 22, 23 now.
Something like that.
Bethesda being in there.
But is it enough damage to you know, like get that level of exclusivity where, you know, like it'll put a dent in, say, like PlayStation's wallet, say the Nintendo's wallet, you know?
Well, not Nintendo, because I don't believe there's many Bethesda games on Nintendo.
There are. Doom is all over Nintendo. Outer Worlds is not, but I don't think the Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls mobile game is.
Outer Worlds not? Because that's not Bethesda. They're Obsidian, are they not?
Yeah, Obsidian, but they would have acquired Obsidian as well, though, in this acquisition.
Yeah, well, no, because Obsidian wasn't owned by ZeniMax. They already had Obsidian, did they not, before they bought ZeniMax?
No, I don't think they had Obsidian before ZeniMax.
I think they did.
Really?
I think they did. Yeah, because Obsidian is the makers of Knights of the Old Republic 2, I believe.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they bought them way before, because a lot of PlayStation players were concerned about Outer Wilds DLC and stuff like that, if it would be going exclusive to Xbox because of the acquisition.
Oh.
But yeah, they are two different companies, I'm sure of it.
Oh, okay. Because I know that they produced Fallout, and I just figured that, you know, they were like a subdivision of
Obsidian created Fallout, and ZeniMax bought the IP, I believe, or something like that, long time ago. But Obsidian, I'm pretty sure, are the original makers, and then it went to Bethesda. Like, they got the IP for it.
That's pretty wild. So yeah, you know, like it all depends. It all depends on what they can produce, and if they can put a dent in the wallet of other game companies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, like I say, Nintendo does have like a lot of Doom games. Nintendo is supposed to be getting Doom Eternal, the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo right now, their Super Smash Brothers game, they just acquired Steve from Minecraft and a bunch of Minecraft characters. So you're going to be playing Super Smash Brothers with like Minecraft characters in it. Minecraft character, like, you know, bombs and stuff like that, like, you know, like power-ups and stuff. So, you know, like Nintendo has their own money. Nintendo, I mean, let's face it, Nintendo has been around for a while. Nintendo's not going anywhere.
Microsoft really does feel like a multi-platform service now, doesn't it? When it comes to Xbox, they really do feel like a multi-platform publisher.
Possibly. Honestly, like it's like I said, yeah, I don't think that Bethesda games will go exclusive. There may be some exclusives. I don't think that'll be all exclusive because, like, you know, like I'm saying, like Mojang, you know, Obsidian, all these companies and stuff like that. They're doing multi. You don't want to leave that money on the table there. You don't want to lose out on any of that cash. And honestly, PlayStation could take a page from that book because a lot of the games that PlayStation has, their exclusives are freaking phenomenal. So why not make that cash on other systems?
You look at God of War and you look at Horizon Zero Dawn and you look at those initial sales numbers, and that's just on one console. And then you launch that, say you launch that on Xbox, which it will probably never happen, or PC day one, you're going to get more money. Now the problem is, you launch that on Xbox, you devalue your own platform. Because you no longer need a PlayStation console to play a PlayStation game. You know, and that's a problem for Sony, because they are all about the hardware. As where Microsoft's all about Game Pass and the services and where the future's going. You know, Sony's still very
right, they're going
digital
mostly.
Yeah, Sony's very, very much grounded in generations still. Although I think this might be the first grounded, you know, or the last grounded generation for Sony, because if Microsoft's plan succeeds, which I suspect it will, I think Sony's really going to have to step their game up, at least by the middle of this generation. Because Game Pass is going to be too good of a deal for a lot of gamers to pass up at that point. You know, you can get in there with the Xbox Series S in the United Kingdom for £250.
That's true, but they got to be competitive, because right now, you know, like, and it made me laugh because you know, like I said before, you know, Lady Strider, her nephew was saying that, you know, the Xbox Series S, X, whatever, not the Xbox One, that they had their pre-orders dominated over PS5 pre-orders, and I'm like, in what world? You know, because PlayStation is already on their third round of pre-orders, you know, like they're trying to get as many PlayStations out as possible. Yeah. So, you know, like I personally don't see it. I don't see where, you know, like they outsold them or anything like that. But it's not even about the outselling. It's about, like, you know, like what's going on and what your system is producing, you know. So I think that Microsoft is going in the right direction. They really did need to do this. I think that they wasted a lot of time and money concentrating on purchasing studios, though. You know, because like I said, how many of these studios actually produced for them?
That's very true. And none of them have produced anything as of yet, and what has been produced is still multi-platform.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, JP7 Play says that they said they weren't focusing on exclusives in the future, which that very well may be, but you know, at the same time, like, you know, like that's kind of what sells your system.
But what does exclusive mean to Microsoft, though? You know, they're saying they're not focusing on exclusive anymore. That they could be saying that just because it's on PC.
Right.
It doesn't have to be on PlayStation for them to not focus on an exclusive. Just by putting it on PC doesn't make it an exclusive.
That's true. That's true. But you know, like there's, I don't know. There's like a lot of question as far as, you know, like what they're gonna do in the future and stuff like that. Like how they're gonna, you know, like in all honesty, like you want a Mario game, you obviously go to Nintendo. You know, Nintendo's known for that. You know, like I just said, Smash Brothers is acquiring Steve from Minecraft. So, you know, there's some exclusivity there where, you know, like you're playing this fighting game, and, you know, like, yeah, it's kind of kiddie, but at the same time, it is a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you definitely you go, you buy a Switch, you play around with your friends and stuff like that. It's kind of wild, you know.
Yeah. I do definitely think, though, with Microsoft, when it comes to the whole cross-play thing, I think that has to be a standard going forward. Like, PlayStation needs to give up this little bloody grip they've got on this whole cross-play problem, you know.
Yeah, that definitely. They definitely need to stop with that cross-play thing. See, look, JP7 Plays, he agrees with me. He says that, you know, Bethesda games made a lot of money on multiple platforms. They can theoretically lose money becoming exclusives on that console. And I got to agree with that. Like, if you're, you know, like, just making your game completely exclusive to one console, and you're known for making, you know, multi-platform games, like, you know, like, that's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they could even, you know what they could have even done to make money, honestly? They could have just released, they could have done a remaster of their original Fallout games, release it for, like, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, you know, whatever, and they could have made money on that. People would have made a killing. They would have loved to see something like that.
So, let me have a look. What was he saying? That is true, but here's the thing. If it would be suicide, I think, for Microsoft to do all these games exclusive straight away, because PlayStation's going to be in better standing, I think, when it comes to the first year, 2 years of this console generation.
Yeah, right now they are, yeah. I would agree there.
So I think it would be suicide for Microsoft to go, right, okay, here's all these games we've just purchased, let's put them on our console and hope to Christ through Game Pass that people will run out with, you know, $500 and buy this console. Yep. I think they'd be stupid. I think they need to keep building the reputation of Game Pass for another couple of years. I personally don't see how they can sustain that by putting brand new AAA games on there and essentially giving it to everybody for $1 a month.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. See, I don't understand Game Pass, like how they do that. Like to me, it just looks like they're throwing money away. You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
No,
Why?
How do you fund a game like that? You know, you put a game out on PS5 and it's going to cost you $70. You put it on Game Pass, it's at the most a $9.99 subscription every single month. That person finishes the game in a week and a half, 2 weeks. If you're anything like me and you're finished it in the first month, guaranteed.
Right.
That person paid £15 for that game. The developer has just lost out on $60.
Right, so how can you sustain that?
Game Pass is sustainable.
How could you live like you'll starve? How could you live off that?
And Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, he made a comment saying that they looked at something like Game Pass, but it wasn't sustainable because they were making these multi-million-dollar games and they couldn't justify putting it on a service like that because they would never make their money back. So how's Microsoft making their money back?
That's a good question.
You look at the quality of Sony's games compared to Microsoft, and this is where the whole term, they're going to Game Pass all of Xbox's games going forward, which means there'd be a lower quality so that there'd be profit made in the end sort of thing. And I think we saw that with Halo. Halo's a game that's meant to have had millions and millions spent on it, but it looked like an original Xbox game.
Yeah, the brand new Halo Infinite, it really did look like Halo 1.
And I think that game is Game Pass. And what I mean by that is, they've got to make a profit on these games at some point, so they can't be multi-million-dollar games like Jim Ryan said on PlayStation side, so they give them a strict budget, ask them to keep for it. This is why this Halo game was going to last 10 years and wasn't a standalone, because they've got to make that money back. I don't like what Game Pass could potentially do to the industry. It's like if we lose Hollywood because all the cinemas close, that means every movie being made going forward is going to be at a standard and a budget.
It's going to be a B movie. It's going to be like a B flick.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's what Hollywood's facing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think games should face that. And this is why I think people will stick with Sony originally, or at least for the first few years, is because they're giving the big next-gen games. Microsoft's they're like, yep, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass.
Yeah, that could really hurt them. Like I don't know. That's why, like, you know, honestly, like with Bethesda, with them being acquired by Microsoft, I mean, let's look at Fallout 76. That was just garbage. I know a bunch of people that like love it, that, you know, like they'll play it and stuff like that, but you know, like it was such a buggy mess. You got bored playing it. There was like a lot of like just real crazy things going on. So like, you know, the question is like, you know, to me, it made sense for them to be picked up by somebody, and they just happen to be picked up by Microsoft. But, you know, like, when will Microsoft make their money? And if they're putting all that stuff on Game Pass, how is Bethesda making their money?
Yeah, see, I agree with what Seven says there. I really do think Starfield's going to become an Xbox exclusive, a Game Pass Xbox PC exclusive.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft would be stupid not to do that. At the end of the day, they spent $7.5 billion. Now, the rumor was that just as Microsoft bought Bethesda, apparently Sony was in talks with Bethesda to make Starfield exclusive for a certain amount of time.
Mm.
Now, that's out the bloody window now.
Right.
But I think Microsoft would be stupid not to make that game an exclusive. There's a lot of anticipation behind that game, and you put that on Game Pass and hold it on Xbox and PC for the first year, I think that'll shift Xbox consoles.
It might. It might.
Yeah, I really do. I agree.
But you know, like,
there.
how much are you releasing? Like, let's look at how many exclusives is PlayStation releasing in the first year? And how many exclusives should Microsoft release to match that?
Well, what? Sony's got Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank. They've got their not Forza, what's their racing game that they've got? Gran Turismo. They've got the 2 Bethesda games, which are next year.
Right. They've got Horizon Zero Dawn.
Although we don't have a release date for that, though.
Right.
And I fully expect that to be delayed into 2022, to be quite honest with you, just as I expect God of War to be delayed into 2022. You know, they can come out with a fancy little logo and go God of War next year. I just laughed when I saw that, because I know how easy Sony is at just going, look, the game's not ready, we're delaying.
Right.
So they've got a good lineup of exclusives for at least the next 2 to 3 years, and probably stuff we don't know about. Like, if the rumoured Silent Hill, they've got Final Fantasy for a year. I'm assuming Final Fantasy VII Part 2 as well is going to be exclusive for a year, considering Final Fantasy 16 is exclusive for a year.
Right. So now let's look at let's shift the focus now back to Microsoft. Microsoft has what coming out? Halo Infinite.
Well, they don't even have that coming out. That's not out until the end of next year, and even then there's speculation that it could be longer.
Oh, wow. I thought that was going to be like almost like a day one exclusive, because it's their system, it's their baby.
Well, it was meant to be a day one exclusive, but because of the outroar for the demo they showed, they delayed it into the end of next year.
Right.
So the Xbox has no exclusives to launch with, and I don't know a single exclusive. I mean, I know there's a horror game. It's like the Silent Hill composer did the music. The name escapes me. Mm-hmm. They've got that. That's that one where the two worlds render on the screen at the same time.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm pretty sure that's all they've got. They gotta get... Microsoft's relying too heavily on Game Pass here. They should have come with a game plan for at least the first year.
That's true. See, that's what blows my mind, is that they are concentrating on Game Pass. I think you're right. I think that a lot of the games are going to take a hit. They're going to be lower budget, because they're not going to be AAA quality, even if it's from a AAA studio.
Yep, Halo's proof of that. I think I genuinely believe that what you saw with Halo was Game Pass.
That's terrible.
I think that, and I don't think I'm the only person to say that. I watch a few other streamers that think the same thing. It's called being Game Passified or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, you're going on to Game Pass, so here's your budget limit.
Right.
Even though, because if you remember, Halo Infinite was meant to be a full original Halo game when it was first announced, and then it became this live service over 10 years, like Destiny clone. And this is why I wonder if Microsoft has bought Bungie. Bungie knows how to do a game that's going to last 10 years. I'm about to go into year 7 with Destiny 2. I've got every expansion, I've played all of it, every bit of it. You give a Halo online game like that to Bungie, like, that's magic.
Well, it's just like what I was saying with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, the Origins team is doing Valhalla, so we're going to have a return to form. We're going to have, somebody who knows how to do these games right. Not that Odyssey wasn't a good game. Odyssey was, it was a good game. It just wasn't a good Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, it was a tremendously good RPG, but such a bad Assassin's Creed story.
Exactly.
But as a game, as an RPG, it was bloody good.
Yeah, definitely. JP7 Play says he's ready for Xbox Game Pass to be an app on the PlayStation.
I agree.
You know what? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. JP7. Yeah, listen. He hit on something. What if they do that?
Console. Well, I don't think Xbox is going to come out with another console. I think this is their game plan. This is why they're using xCloud. Why do you need a console if you can stream a game with absolutely no input lag whatsoever on the lowest quality connection possible on any screen in your house? Why would you need an Xbox? And if you are not a console developer, then surely Sony would go, you want to put your Xbox library in our store on Game Pass? That's absolutely fine, but we take our cut because it's on the store per download.
So, genuinely,
I agree.
You could see an app, Game Pass, Microsoft's Game Pass. You could see that app on, like Sony, on Nintendo,
well, the
on your
rumor is
phone.
it's already coming to the rumor is it's already coming to Nintendo, and I've got Game Pass on my phone already.
You could get technically what you could do is you could, if you find, if they signed a deal with some of these, like, you know, like makers of like TVs or something, like the smart TVs, they could sell a controller.
Yep, they don't even need to do that. Just give the TV Bluetooth capability so you can sync your PlayStation controller or your Xbox controller to the TV.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Take it a step further. They sell an Xbox controller that the program is in it could be on the smart TV.
Subscription on it, yeah. And it comes with 3 years subscription with it. You know, it's one of those things. Game Pass at the moment, if you go for Game Pass Ultimate, you get your Xbox Live Gold, you get Xbox Game Pass, and you get xCloud for $14.99 a month. That allows you to obviously play online, have full access to Game Pass, and stream and play your games on any device, except for Apple. So think about that. For £15 a month, you have your entire library Game Pass on any screen, anywhere, anytime you want.
See, that's where they would make their money.
That's what they're doing, and this is why I was saying I like where we are at the moment with PlayStation, but they have to change their game plan in the next 3 years. This generation to generation thing it's not a thing anymore. Microsoft have killed it. Now it's about just making games and getting them out there to absolutely anybody and everybody.
Now the only downside that I see to this is that in making these games, how is the quality now?
Well, I believe for a while the quality would get lower, but my problem is I still don't see how Microsoft makes a profit. I mean, it's going after a certain amount of time, everybody's going to get past that £1 free trial and have to pay full subscription.
In that 1 month, I'm already beating like 15 games.
Same. You know, you get 2 or 3 of the biggest games and you sit down over 3 weeks in the evening. You're probably like me, you start playing at 7 o'clock and before you know it, it's 4 in the bloody morning and you got to get up for the kids.
Yep.
You know, Microsoft's got the right idea. I just don't
YouTube is my job, bro. I play all day, every day.
and it's... I don't understand how Game Pass is sustainable. I don't get it. You know, you're going to go put a game that costs $300 million into Game Pass, and instead of earning that £70 for the disc, you're going to accept a $14.99 subscription for 1 month to play it. And that person's never going to go buy the game because he's played it.
Right. And then it's always on Game Pass, unless you make them timed exclusives. Or limited time on Game Pass.
I'm assuming this has probably got more to do with the amount of subscribers you got. You know, the more subscribers paying $15.99 a month, because a lot of the games are older and have made their money at the moment anyway. It's obviously the new stuff that's being added we're talking about. But if you have 50 million people paying $15.99 a month, for Game Pass Ultimate, I mean, surely, that's got to add up over time. So is this a thing where Microsoft is going to work this at a loss for the first 5 to 10 years? I mean, let's be honest with you, Netflix is in debt. Netflix is always working in debt.
Well, now they're like really in debt. Did you see, speaking of Netflix, they produced that movie called Cuties?
Oh, dude, do you know what? I heard about that and I was just,
a friend of mine showed me a small clip of that. I was furious. I don't even have a daughter and I was furious.
Mate, they thought that was art.
Yeah, they considered it was a coming-of-age movie, they said.
Was it? Fuck, that was a movie that was purely based around creepy old men jacking off in front of their TVs at midnight, man. That was some of the most horrific... I mean, I never watched it, but from what I heard and like from the commentary channels, that was some of the most horrific crap that should ever have been in a movie for like a 10, 11-year-old to be doing.
Yeah, it really shouldn't. They were doing stuff that, like, you know, women like our age shouldn't be doing. Like, it really... it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
And the director said it was her culture, it was how she was brought up and stuff like that. And I just, well, if that's the case, I feel sorry for you, love.
Exactly. Like, that was just nuts. Like, I couldn't believe that. But yeah, like, right now, Netflix is taking a loss. Netflix is taking a loss because a lot of people canceled their subscription.
It was the same in the UK. They lost a lot of subscribers in the UK over this as well.
So you know, like they're definitely in debt right now. Like they're in trouble. You might see them raising subscription fees and stuff like that. But like what I don't understand, you know, like obviously the sustainability of Game Pass, that's one question. That's going to be kind of confusing.
That's my main question is how do you justify a £300 million game going on Game Pass and that person, instead of paying 70, is only paying 15, beats it in 2 weeks, then cancels the subscription?
Exactly. Or, you know, cancels their subscription, then goes to like a different email account and then loads it up there.
£1 deal again. Yeah, it just takes the £1 a month deal again and just plays it again because he wants to. But then I suppose you do have systems out there, though, that if you try and use the same bank card or credit card, it recognises that and it goes, nope, this card has been used already for a free trial, you can't use it again.
Yeah, I've got 15 different bank cards. I got a PayPal card, I got my bank card, I got, you know, like a Venmo card, I've got a Cash App card, I got all kinds of cards. I could do this like all day. I could go months at a time. And
so you could go technically 2 years and only pay 20 quid roughly.
Exactly.
Bloody hell.
You know, it all depends. So like, you know, like they would lose out a lot of money. I would be in gamer heaven. I would play like all those games and everything. The only thing that would like really put a stymie on me is if they if there's like some kind of like commercials or something, or like something where I can't record the gameplay because it's a free trial or whatever. You know what I'm saying? As a YouTuber, that's the only way that they would get me. They would burn me that way, easily. But for anybody who's not, who just wants to play games, they just have a love of games, they're robbing them blind.
See, this is where I think PlayStation went wrong with all this. See if they had just put the work in for the because the PS5 is obviously backwards compatible with PS4 games. Now, see if they had just put the bloody time and work in to make this console backwards compatible with PS1, 2 and 3. Even if it meant having to spend a little extra money on an emulator for the PS3 side of things. If they launched PS5 with every single generation of PlayStation game on this console and said no need to subscribe to Game Pass, we're going to shut down PlayStation Now. We are going to have a streaming service, but it's not going to be for our IP. It's going to be for the developers out there if they choose to use it. I think that might be a better idea.
Yeah, I think so. If you're able to play like any game from any generation of PlayStation.
You go to PlayStation 5's PlayStation Store and you can pick your PlayStation tab, you know, whatever console you want. You've got access to every one of these games. They're all on sale. And then you've got PlayStation Now, which is strictly for third-party developers and say the new PlayStation stuff after a time. Because I don't, you know, like I said, Jim Ryan said he can't justify something like Game Pass, so obviously he wouldn't put first party on like a PlayStation Now service instantly. But you know you'll get it at some point. See, I think that might be the move for Sony, but the problem is they didn't do the backwards compatibility.
Yeah, that is a major problem on their point. Nobody could understand why they did that. They say 90% of PlayStation 4 games are going to be compatible, which, you know, like I totally get. I love that, but you know, like it would have been nice to play where I don't need all these consoles. I have them all anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's nostalgic for me to have them all in the house and stuff like that, and you know, like to show my son like, you know, what we've got going on, how we played, what the loading times were. You know, like that's absolutely amazing.
Right? They're trying to tell us they cannot emulate PlayStation 1 and 2 on a PS5, but yet I can emulate it on a black and white Game Boy.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It makes no sense to me. I mean, if they were to put Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil 2, 3, you know, the Gun Survivor games on there, I own the
the obscure games that you didn't even know were out there.
you know, Parasite Eve 1 and 2, Dino Crisis. You know, I would buy them if they were $9.99 each, and you know, they were being, you know, slightly upscaled.
Oh, that's what I have on my on my PS3. I've got Parasite Eve 1 and 2. I've got all the original. You know, even though I own them like physically, I own them digitally. It's a lot less wear on my physical copies, and why not?
Yeah. See, that's what I do. I use the emulation on the laptop. But you stick them on PlayStation Store for £10, I'll buy that collection to add to my library quite happily.
Hell yeah! I have what do you call it? Konami put out the they put out a Castlevania and a Contra collection, a compilation, and it's got, you know, like not just the ones from the original Nintendo and Sega. It also has like the arcade version, the Japanese versions, and everything. And I think that was like 14, and I paid that happily.
See, the one thing that baffles me about PlayStation 4 is I own Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Max Payne, Warriors, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, all those, which are PlayStation 1 games, and, you know, and some PlayStation 2 games. But I own them from the PlayStation Store on my PS4, and it baffles me that they never added that with PS4, because they could clearly do it. They added trophies to Grand Theft Auto and everything for the PS4 versions, and it's always boggled the mind. Why did you not just put them on the store? Because the hardcore gamer fanboys that want the games that are a little bit better in definition, I would have paid for the entire Resident Evil collection again happily for the PS4. If it came with trophies, who wouldn't?
Exactly. I paid for it. What do you call it on the PS3? The original PS1 games. No trophies, obviously, but still.
Yeah, that's
I paid.
You know,
I'm a fan.
That's the versions I've got. I don't have the PS3 anymore, but I've got them on the handheld.
Yeah, so they could have made a killing there. I don't know why they didn't do that. I think that they're afraid of. They're looking more towards the future. I think. You know, they're trying to be.
Yeah, it fits in with their generation's speech, doesn't it, really?
Ethan paid $30 for 5 Resident Evil games. Which 5? And on what system? That's what they should have done.
I mean, they didn't have to do all of them, but certainly the most popular ones. I mean, Jesus, they put the time in to do all of Rockstar Games stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and those are excellent. I live streamed it one day while we were doing one of our podcasts. Oh, you got 0, 1, 4, 5, and 6 on PS4 for $30.
That's not bad, actually.
That's not bad at all.
Damn, like that's cheaper than I got it.
Yeah,
I got 0 and 1, and I got 0 and 1 in a bundle for about 25. 4 I had to buy separately for about 25, and then 5 was about 25 when it came out. And see, I bought 5 and 6 as they came out remastered.
Ah.
So I paid full price for 5 and 6. Again.
Yeah. You know what? you do it though. You do it. I've got originally Resident Evil 4 was on. It was a Nintendo GameCube exclusive.
Yeah.
I got it then.
Was yeah. That's
and then I got it again. Got Metal Gear Solid on a bunch of systems.
Oh god, I've got Resident Evil 1 on PS1, PSP, PC. I've got it on the PlayStation. Yeah, I've got too many copies of Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, but like, you know, like you have a love of it and you keep buying it. Like, why not?
Yeah, and now it's all about this smart delivery crap, isn't it? Or you're just giving it for free when you get the next gen system, like, and people complain, you know, why are we not getting it for free? It's like, you do understand people have got to work on this game to get it to that point, yeah?
Exactly.
Which Resident Evil is your favourite? Resident Evil 2 is personally mine. I will play that game over and over and over again.
The old one or the remake?
Both of them. They're both. The original is a classic. The remake is such a good game. One of the best remakes I think there's ever been. It's hard because I do think I like the remake more.
Really?
Yeah, I think I do like the remake more.
No, I could see that. Yeah, Game Pass though, like they yeah, I again don't understand how they're sustaining it. Number two, I don't know how well this is going to go. If you look at the Nintendo Switch, ever since the Nintendo Wii, like the games that they've produced, that they've released and everything like that, they've all been, you know, like kind of shoddy games and stuff, you know, like kind of, you know, not the greatest games and stuff, you know, like aside from their first party and their more familiar titles, you know, it just seems like they put anything on and sell it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I have to agree.
You know, like I kind of feel like that's where Game Pass is going if they continue this route.
And this is the worry as well. They have their one original studio, which I believe they call it the Initiative, and I have no idea what they're working on. What baffles me is you give a big franchise like Fable, right? And people have been asking Fable for years. Why do you give it to the development team of Forza?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I'm baffled by that. Like, obviously the studio wants to do something different and they want to take on a new task. Like, I understand that, I get that, it's admirable. But you make fucking racing games.
Yeah, how are you really going to make this RPG?
Yeah, like, you've got, as far as I'm aware, they've got no experience in this field. And it's... Yeah, Microsoft boggles the mind, man. They're making moves and they're making big ones, but it's like moves that I don't understand, I suppose, really myself. Like, it's like, what's your real end game here, Microsoft? What are you pushing?
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's just like, what are you doing? Where is this going?
Yeah, where are we going? Because PlayStation's doing Generations, and you're like just buying up studios and putting shit in Game Pass. Like, what's the end game here?
Yeah, I find myself asking the same question. It's just, it's weird. It really is weird. Like, you would think that they would have like an actual battle plan.
I mean, for us, it could be something as simple as we're more used to Generations than we are from what Microsoft's doing. What Microsoft's doing is something the younger generation have been doing with iPhones and stuff for a while now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it could just be we are stuck in our ways.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true.
You know, but again, I don't understand how this is sustainable. Yeah, a $300 million game on a Game Pass, and you know, somebody rents it for £1 in a month and finishes it. Like, where's the profit in that?
Yeah, exactly. I would start producing lower quality games. My studio, I wouldn't, if that's where we're going. If that's how they're going to treat me, yeah, I'll produce lower quality games.
And this is the thing: the studio's got to make money to stay open. And Microsoft's well known for shutting shit down, just as well as Google and Apple and every other company out there. If something doesn't work, if the studios don't work, they shut them down.
Yeah,
Are we about to look at another wave of EA shutdowns over the next couple of years through Microsoft?
Yeah, that would suck. That would suck. Like, you know, especially for people getting into the game industry. Like, you know, like when you're getting into the game industry, you know, like you're trying to get, obviously you want to get to the AAA leagues, but you know, if you are able to get into, like, you know, like the minor leagues, you want to do it, you know, like you want to get into it. You want to establish yourself.
Yeah, Microsoft's plan's just baffling at the moment.
Yeah, see, I never understood that ever since they started buying studios. I didn't understand, like, what were you doing? Just buying stuff until, like, you know, you got a hit? Like, what was going on? And then, like, none of these studios produced anything. Not that I'm aware of.
And the best way to look at it is, you know, when Microsoft hit E3 and they went through this whole thing, you know, we bought this studio, that studio, this studio, that studio, the internet went, ooh, that's really cool. Microsoft wants games. And then PlayStation came out and went, we bought the Spider-Man developer, and the internet literally broke down. Now, that was one studio compared to Microsoft's 7 at the time.
Yeah.
And the internet was more impressed with the purchase of the Spider-Man Insomniac developer than they were of anything that Microsoft bought. Even the Xbox fanboys looked at Microsoft and went, you know, you're $1 billion company, your wallets are deep as heck, and you let Sony get Insomniac.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But yet you've got $7.5 billion for Bethesda.
Yeah. Made no sense.
There's a big difference in that type of develop. You know, I would quite happily go straight to, you know, the Spider-Man developers on that one.
Well, now they even have, you know, like, I mean, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, you know, like the cinema and everything like that. But now, even as far as putting Spider-Man in that Avengers game, Spider-Man is not coming out on the Xbox.
Yeah, Sony have made sure that Spider-Man is a beacon for PlayStation. And that's essentially what they've done, because that Spider-Man for that Marvel's game could have been a multi-platform Spider-Man, because it wasn't a game made by Sony. But Sony got in there and they dropped the money and went, look, we're making the Spider-Man games, we would like you, we're going to drop a big bag of cash in front of you, I want you to make that PlayStation exclusive, go make Spider-Man for us. And do you know what the daft thing is that will also shift PS5s. Because people will want to play as Spider-Man.
Exactly. And I'd love to see what they're doing with the other DLC and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It will be interesting. Especially to see if Microsoft ends up with any exclusive characters.
I'd love to see that.
Well, Microsoft needs to do something, because at the moment they're doing nothing but Game Pass. You know, they don't seem to have an answer to what Sony's bringing to the table.
No, and Sony is doing, you know, like they've got the VR. They're doing the VR 2.0. That's going to be coming out soon. Like,
well, I would say probably 2023 before we see the new headset, at least, and the new Move controllers and such like.
Right. But still,
you know?
that's huge. That's huge, and Microsoft was supposed to do that. Microsoft was supposed to get that. You know, that's why I'm saying, like, their acquisition of Bethesda is great and all. You know, we're not going to see, not in my opinion at least, we're not going to see like a lot of exclusives going to Microsoft. And even if they have exclusives, like, you know, like, what is it going to do? What is it really going to do for you at this point? You know, you have to do something radical. They were supposed to have their own VR. They should have had their own VR.
Phil Spencer came out and said the reason why they didn't end up doing the VR was because the technology was not where Microsoft thought it should be. And I believe, and that's an official statement. I remember reading that. Phil Spencer said that. So that's the reason why they never went ahead with it. Is Phil Spencer essentially thought the technology was not where it needed to be to justify Microsoft going ahead with it at that time. I do think you're going to see something with a Series X though. I think they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, they've got to figure something out. They really have to. They got to, and they should have done their own version of the VR. I understand that the technology was not there, but still, you should have developed it. What was that they showed us at E3? They showed us a Minecraft where, like, you know, the everything was collapsible onto tables, surfaces.
Yeah.
That was amazing. What happened to that? That technology wasn't there?
Is that technology even, like, did Google not try to do something like that with Google Glass? I mean, I remember the Microsoft showcase of that where she was playing Minecraft on the table through her augmented reality glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anything about that since, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. And that looked great. If they would have continued with that kind of, like, VR, if Microsoft would have done that, that would have been amazing.
Ethan, I've got Arkham VR, and let me tell you,
see, look, JP7, he even says Oculus compatibility. Why not? What's going on? Where is that tech?
Well, if Microsoft was to do Oculus compatibility, let's be honest with you, they would have to integrate Facebook.
Oh, that's true.
Facebook owns Oculus, so you need to remember that's Microsoft having to work with Facebook now. And Oculus is going through a lot of troubles at the moment because they're getting rid of the Oculus login, and you now have to log in to use Oculus through your Facebook account. So they're under a lot of fire at the moment. Half-Life Alyx is not on PlayStation VR, although Valve did say that they don't have a problem bringing it to PlayStation VR, but unfortunately currently the VR that PlayStation has, I believe, is not powerful enough. which would make sense. If you look at Half-Life Alyx, that is an unbelievable looking VR game.
For real. So we may see that on the version 2.0.
Well, I hope so. I hope so, because that is a very impressive game. And if you look at what PlayStation is doing with their Move controllers for next gen, they're very much finger tracking, and like some of the stuff coming out is crazy for your finger tracking with PS5, how it tracks each individual finger, your movements, your elbow movements, your shoulder movements.
Right.
It's like, and if some of these, you know, these little patents come to fruition, the next gen VR is going to be very impressive, and let me tell you, it's going to be very expensive.
Yeah, most likely.
You know,
most likely. I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what happens, but at the same time, you know, like I would like to see a little more competition. I mean, even Nintendo had come out with something where they were talking about doing some VR, and some of their games are VR. So they have some VR.
They've got the cardboard. They've got the Nintendo cardboard or something. Labo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. Apparently it works.
Yeah, it does. I have the Labo. It's pretty cool looking. It's actually pretty wild.
I saw that and just, it looks like Google Cardboard to me. I was like, no thank you.
Yeah, the only thing that I don't like about the whole Labo thing is that, you know, like your whole thing could be defeated by like spilling a glass of water by accident. You know? Like humidity in your house or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's madness.
Yeah, but I would love to see Microsoft step up their game. I would love to see them jump in and do something like amazing.
You would think Microsoft as a company would be leaders when it came to VR, considering who they are.
Yeah, you know what? There was a lot of stuff that they had. They had a lot of like technology that they were doing before you know, Nintendo even got into it. Nintendo came out. Nintendo had, you know, like their little Nintendo Switch. Microsoft was going to do something like that. They were going to do something like that the way they had the Wii U. When Nintendo came out with the Wii U, Microsoft was supposed to have something similar. Microsoft was supposed to have a VR. So, I mean, why are we not focusing on hardware? Why is it only, you know, digital things like Game Pass and stuff like that?
I think maybe if you look at the reception of Kinect 2.0 with the launch of Xbox One and how negative that was and how nobody bought it, even as a, like, you know, it had to be with your Xbox One when you bought it. It was part of the big price problem. Kinect was shit.
Right.
Like I had the original Kinect on 360. Me and the kids played it over and over and over again, and we had fun with it. But nobody was interested in Kinect 2.0. And I think Microsoft is maybe worried about putting out another thing like that and it just flops and it's cost them millions and millions and millions in development.
Well, you don't add it as part of the system as like a necessity. That was the downfall. Exactly. You know, they put it out like it needed to be there. You needed to buy it.
But PlayStation did that originally. The PS4 was originally meant to be bundled with the PlayStation camera. When PlayStation saw the outroar over how people were with connecting the Xbox, you know, they actually changed that last minute. That was a last minute change for PS4. They took that camera right out the box before people could have a go at them for it.
Yeah, I mean, that only makes sense, though. You see all the stuff that Microsoft is getting for it. Why would you continue that same... Why would you do the same thing?
Do you know, I don't know what you're shooting, but that thing looks like flipping Slimer.
It's like one of those fish from some Captain Keen game. Like they've got like so many other games that they've done. I don't think that they have any plans to like remake any of these games or anything like that. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this JP7. He says that he only played Dance Central and he can't dance. Nobody could dance when they're playing Dance Central, but it's a fun game. You know?
Did you play the Star Wars Dance Central? No, I did. That was horrendous. That Star Wars one, man, where you're dancing in the pub is Han Solo with the stormtroopers behind you, and oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
I bought that thinking that was a Star Wars game, and I swear to God, I took it back to game the very next day.
Oh god. No, I haven't seen. I haven't danced with it. I haven't played that and everything like that. But like I've seen people play it and stuff. Like they look like they're having fun, but a lot of those people like they can't dance, but they're just playing it, you know. Which is pretty wild.
Just Dance in VR would be hilarious to watch, man. Just the
that would be funny.
TVs, cables, light shades.
The freaking what is it? The Beat Saber is crazy with the VR.
Yeah, that's going to be quite good for workouts and stuff, though.
Yeah, it is. You're swinging the sword around and everything. You're making sure you're, especially on the harder difficulties, like you really have to be precise. Yeah. So, you know, let's chalk it up to the original mess up of VR, though. That was the Nintendo Virtual Boy. What a disaster that was.
See, I never had one of them, but I have watched documentaries and countless videos about them, and that thing, I believe the VR game I saw, it was like you're shooting the ducks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I never experienced the original Nintendo one, but I heard of it, and I certainly have seen it.
Oh, it was like crazy. It made you sick, like with the way that the graphics were and everything like that. It really was not good. Really wasn't. It was terrible.
It definitely was. Right, well, what I'm going to do, bud, I'm going to take a quick 2-second reprieve. I'm going to go check on my kids.
No problem.
Because they've got the babysitter. Are you wanting to still open up tonight, or you want to quickly talk about Valhalla first?
No, we'll talk about Valhalla, and then we'll open it up to everybody. We'll you know, like open up the party, and anybody who's got a PS4 who wants to like jump in could jump in and talk to us live.
Yep, because I am very much of a changed mind with Valhalla, as I was speaking to Strider about earlier on. So I think we need to discuss that, because as a long-term fan who was turned off by this game, to get suddenly turned on by it. To then go out and buy the full bloody edition of the thing the same day, so we'll discuss that. I think we need to talk about that, because I have a funny feeling there's going to be a lot more Creed fans out there than just me that have done that after that trailer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done it. I got the, you know, like I got the actual physical edition that's coming, the Question Your Life Choices edition, which is expensive, and then I've got the digital, so that I could just play it at midnight for everybody, you know.
Yeah, well, that's my plan. I'll be playing it at midnight, and I'll be streaming it, so I might even jump on stream with you.
Nice, there we go.
Because I've got Destiny launching the same day, but luckily it doesn't launch till daily reset, so I will have a whole day, like a whole 3/4 of a day to play this game before I even have to jump on Destiny. So
that would be crazy. Yeah, no, but JP, yeah. You definitely, we do this. We're thinking of doing this like a lot often, like a lot more often.
Yep. Right, give me 2 minutes, bud. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, JP, we're thinking of doing this a lot more often. We had somebody on last week, or the week before. You know, like we actually want to get you guys more involved and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. So, you know, like we want to talk with you guys. You know, like discuss like whatever we discussed today, other things besides what we discussed today. So it's a lot of fun. We want to continue that as our format. But yeah. As far as, you know, like Microsoft goes, like, you know, like Bethesda really did need somebody to like acquire them. Like Bethesda really, after the disaster that is Fallout 76, I know some people like actually enjoy it, which, you know, like that's no problem. But, you know, initially it was a train wreck, and now, you know, like they've got like other things going on, and if you know, Microsoft could kind of guide them, then that's well worth it. But, you know, like, a lot of people worried, you know, like, oh, you know, like now Bethesda games are going to be, you know, like the Xbox exclusive, PC exclusives. I don't think so. That's a lot of money on the table that you're leaving behind. And, you know, if we look at Mojang and you look at Obsidian, they're not going to leave that money on the table. That money is too good. When you've got people that are like on multiple platforms and you have fans on multiple platforms, I'm pretty sure that even if you're bought by a bigger studio, you want to make sure that your game goes to as many places as possible. So this is, you know, like, to me, this is like a big deal. It's impossible, well, not impossible, but improbable that they would do that they would just be a pure exclusive to Sony or to Microsoft at this point, especially when they're established with other consoles and stuff like that. Even the Nintendo Switch They're even you know, like they've even got Nintendo Switch games under their belt. So for them to do that, like to me, it's just, it makes no sense. You know, Nintendo Switch actually has like a lot of Bethesda games. They've got a lot of Doom games. They've got a lot of all kinds of games that are produced. Even the what Nintendo is actually known for, or notorious for now, is playing the piece or the console, the mobile games on their system. Nintendo has a lot of games that were like once mobile, like the, what is it, Elder Scrolls, the Blades. That thing is basically a mobile game, and you can play it on the Switch. And Switch is basically, you know, like all Switch needs to do is like have a phone service, and it's pretty much a phone.
Oh, right.
Which I would love to see.
Switch is a pain in the arse now for bloody voice chat. You got a bloody hookup for your phone and all that rubbish.
Yeah, yeah. That is very true. Switch, I don't think that has capability for like party chat and stuff.
It doesn't. You've got to download the Nintendo app to your Android, and then stick your headset in on your phone, connect to party through the app on your Android, and that's how you talk. Yeah,
no, that's too much for me.
That's too much for me. You would think in 2020 Nintendo could add something as simple as a voice chat.
Yeah, that is just way too busy for me to be. Look at this thing again.
And it's not that they're getting in the way of my phone. They're making me waste space on an app I shouldn't have to have.
Exactly. That is weird as heck. That is just strange.
Yeah, just a bit, man. Right. So where'd you want to start with Valhalla then?
Let's talk about your experience purchasing it. Like, why did you purchase it?
Right. Well, I'm one of those people that sat there and watched the 12-hour artwork session at the very beginning for the reveal. You know, I sat playing Assassin's Creed 3 on my Switch for the whole day while this guy literally painted a bloody picture.
Right.
Now I understood the picture, you know, the building of the castle, it looking pristine, and then the passage of time and the castle being broken down, and like I understood what he was doing.
Right.
Now the first trailer came out, which was the cinematic, which I thought was really cool. But I was baffled by the hidden blade.
Why?
Why is it on the top of your wrist, dude? You know, you literally just punched the man in the face with the blade on top of your wrist. Why is it not under? So that to me was okay, so did you just kind of pick this thing up and just strap it to yourself? Is this an Edward Kenway thing?
Right.
So I wasn't sold on it. And then the more I saw of the other trailers, I literally just saw Odyssey all over again, being completely honest with you.
I figured.
For me, where's the Assassins? Where's the Templars? What's going on? This isn't Assassin's Creed, we're doing another Odyssey here, and it's like, I understand this is the Ancient Ones, but from the story trailer, that got me excited, I'll go into more of that in a minute. I didn't buy it. Something didn't feel right with it, and I think as an Assassin's Creed fan, I think I've been heavily disappointed with nearly every single game since Black Flag. Origins was a major step up for me. I loved that game.
Mm-hmm.
Origins was fan-bloody-tastic. And for me, came very close to the top spot. I placed that as the second best Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion.
Right.
It comes in after Assassin's Creed 2. Brotherhood comes in after Origins. Odyssey was a good RPG, it was a crap story. It was a real... I mean, you have to admit, as an Assassin's Creed game, that game made no fucking sense.
No, not at all.
There was no sense in that. The Atlantis stuff made... Like, you've got a whole DLC called The Fate of Atlantis, but yet you only spend one episode in Atlantis.
Yeah, the other two you were spending out in the underworld or whatever.
Yeah. Nothing about this game made sense. What they did with Darius did not make sense. Darius wasn't an assassin, so why did you dress him as one? Why did you have him act as one? So
exactly.
as a story, Origins put me off quite a bit.
Yeah, it was like you were saying last time that according to Origins, Bayek's father taught him how to like do the leap of faith, and all of a sudden here's Darius, and he's just doing it.
Yeah, and not even Darius, but Cassandra. She does it from the second you start the game.
Right.
You know, Cassandra's viewpoint should have been her going up to the top of the building, hitting a button, the camera swirling around her, and then her maybe swinging around and starting to descend the building.
Right.
Bayek's dad taught Bayek the eagle dive. It was about courage. It was about having faith in himself that he could do the impossible. That's where the eagle dive came from. So when they introduced Darius, and Darius does it off the... You're sitting there going, wait, what? You're dressed like an assassin, you look like an assassin, you're eagle diving.
But you're technically not supposed to be an assassin because they didn't come out yet.
Yeah, you're technically, all he should be is the first recorded kill of the Hidden Blade.
Exactly.
So why is he dressed as an assassin? Why is he acting like one? He didn't build the Brotherhood. Bayek put the Brotherhood together. Although right. I wonder what the alternate story would have been if the developers were allowed to make the game the way they wanted to.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions.
So it makes you wonder, because Aya, apparently, if the game was made the way the developers had wanted, it would have been Bayek that would have been the side character, and Aya that would have been the main character.
Yeah.
So, what got me going with Valhalla was, and how I put it to you earlier on, is the trailer starts, you see the Hidden Blade being handed to him, and right. he's in what looks like a castle with the assassin drapes coming down the walls. My first reaction was, ooh. And then we get to the bit where he's talking, you've got the husband and wife bit, and they're all talking, and then you've got what is clearly a bloody assassin standing next to that boat, and then I went, ooh. You know? And then you get to the bit where you see what is clearly a Templar right at the end, and I just went, pre-order.
So that was it. That was it for you. You were just like, yep, I'm getting it.
That is exactly what I was waiting for, and that is exactly what I did not get in Odyssey.
Well, yeah, that's what like a lot of people were complaining about. And then, you know, like people have like their little bits and pieces here where they're complaining, they're upset, the Viking is supposed to be gay, they're supposed to be you know, like all this other like nonsense going on and stuff like that.
Well, he can't be gay, because if you watch some of the gameplay, and I did this today because I pre-ordered it, I gave in and went and watched all this gameplay that's been going about. Eivor has a girlfriend or a wife, and it was the male Eivor that was being played as.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's going to be a choice thing again, like kind of what Odyssey was.
Yeah, but the thing is that like it, again, like, you know, we question, like, how could there be, you know, like two of the same people? How could this guy be the exact same, you know, like people at the same time and everything? You know, like, it makes no sense, you know. So what they were saying is that, you know, the Origins team is saying that they found a way to explain that the Viking is both male and female. So how is that possible?
Yeah. So could it be just essentially you are playing as the same person, but it literally is just it can't read the correct sex thing, but it has all the correct data other than that?
See, that still bothers me. Like, how could you not read XX chromosomes as opposed to XY?
Yeah.
Your magic machine could do anything it wants to. Practically.
Well, hell, it took her to Atlantis. It literally took her to Atlantis, mate.
Yeah, but it can't figure out, you know, male from female DNA. There's a major disconnect there.
Yeah, I have to say, what was Odyssey's reason for that again? It literally was, it just couldn't distinguish, could it?
It was like the DNA was so damaged it didn't know which one was which.
But yet, it doesn't matter which one you go to, you still get the proper story.
It had two people's DNA on it, only two people, after you've murdered countless people with this blade.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you know, like
really. Yeah, if you think of it that way.
Yeah, that's what killed me. I was like, you know, like wait. I mean, they cleaned everybody else's DNA, and how did they get the DNA? Did they murder each other? Like, you know, like what happened? Did she kill her brother? How did his DNA get on there?
I mean, I got to say, I really think Cassandra planted that blade. If you see Layla pick that blade up at the beginning of that game, she literally lifts up 2 rocks and finds it.
Yeah, that was another issue I had. I was like, what the hell is this?
I think it was planted. I think it was planted. Or it's your theory and she's dead and she found it because she had to.
Yeah, you know, like that's one of the that's why like I came up with that theory. Like I can't see Odyssey as actually having happened. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it doesn't make sense in the timeline.
No. Doesn't make sense in the timeline, and nothing that goes on makes sense. We don't know how she acquired like this crew. We don't know who any of these people are. We just know all of a sudden that she, you know, like we don't even know what Miles Desmond William Miles. We don't even know like how he even confided in her. How did he trust her? So you know what I'm saying? We don't see any of that backstory, and I don't want to hear that it was. I don't want to hear that it was like in a comic because I'll lose my mind. I'm sick of that.
Because, well, in Origins, he didn't do anything. She woke up, he was there. He's like, hi, I'm William Miles. She's like, that. Oh, you're the head of the Assassins. He's like, yep, we want you to come work with us. Go back in the Animus. And then you go back in the Animus, and then you finish the game. And it's like, well, what? Like, you didn't even cover it in the DLC portion of the game.
Exactly.
And then you don't even have the decency to give us William Miles in Odyssey.
Yeah, there was just a lot of stuff that they messed up.
Do you think we're at a point now where they know what they want to do when it comes to Assassin's Creed? Because obviously they have their timelines, they have their great ideas. Do you think they are just genuinely at a complete loss now when it comes to present day and what to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's some disconnect. You know, like when they had Desmond, who
they had a clear vision and a story to go for.
Who Shiro Kobocha over there is asking about Italian. Yes, he is. He is playing as Altair. No, well, Altair first, then Ezio Auditore de Firenze, and then you know, like he does the whole Requiescat in Pace, which is what you know, like they started out with and everything. Oh yeah. Hold on, Logan has some questions for us. What are your questions, Logan? Because there were like a lot of... There's just like a disconnect. I don't think that they knew what direction to go with once Desmond was gone. Like, you know, we played as an employee of Abstergo. We played as just like some schlep who they hijacked the signal and told us about the Assassin's Initiative and stuff. You know, like
welcome initiate.
Yeah, like you know,
watch a 3-minute video about DNA and thank you for joining.
Exactly. Like, come on, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Oh, Max Rect wants the Assassin's Creed Odyssey XP glitch. Yeah, I put like 5 different videos out on XP glitches for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So feel free to search through all of my videos, especially the recent ones. Knock yourself out.
One thing to remind you of, Strider. You need to hustle that Discord.
Oh yeah, no, I've got the Discord up and running.
Yeah, you need to hustle it to the people though.
Oh, that's true.
You need to get that link up there and let people join it if they want. So that even if we're not streaming, conversations can continue and whatnot.
Yeah, no, we will. The problem with Valhalla is that, you know, like the information is so intermittent that, you know, like I want to get to Valhalla and then give you guys like actual videos on Valhalla. So as soon as Valhalla comes out, I'm going to give you, I'm not giving you the hype. I want to give you the actual Valhalla. I want to give you the glitches. I want to give you guys, you know, like the things you deserve. I'm not... You know, everybody that's talking about Valhalla, I know a lot of people are like, well, why are you still doing Odyssey and Origins? Why aren't you talking about Valhalla? Reason I'm not talking about Valhalla is that, you know, like, it's all basically like cutscenes and stuff like that. Yeah. There's not much to go by on cutscenes. It's the same every video.
It's the same news every video.
Yeah, every single YouTuber that is doing that, they're all using the same footage. They're all talking about the same subjects. Like
following footage off of each other.
Yeah, how much can you actually hear about the same exact subject when there's nothing new yet? You know, well, so that's why I'm not doing that.
From their gameplay that they did when they were streaming it to the streamers to play, I mean, there's what, roughly 2 hours of actual gameplay footage out there now?
Yeah, like, you know, like I don't want to, I'm not going to talk over that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, you know, like talk about...
Not just that. These streamers have been making videos with that same content now for months and months and months and months and months, talking about exactly the same thing, just in different order for months and months and months.
Analyzing the video, reanalyzing the video,
with
what it looks like.
Speculation at the end that very rarely comes true.
Exactly.
You know, it's one of those things. You want to get that game, you want to enjoy it. So if you know, if you want to sit and play a bit of Odyssey, then play a bit of Odyssey, because guess what? Valhalla's 38 days away.
Yeah, 38 days away.
In 38 days, this man's going to be dropping you content. You know, there's no getting around it. This man's going to be dropping videos all over the place. So,
yeah, Logan. Once Valhalla comes out, you're going to get it. You're going to get sick. You're going to have so many videos that are going to be, you know, like dropped and everything like that. You know, you know what my problem is? I'm not gonna do exactly what everybody else is doing. You want me to do what everybody else is doing? I'll say the exact same thing you already heard from other YouTubers that are covering it. They're all tripping over each other because they don't even know what content to put out. And the thing is that if you're watching that kind of content where they're just saying the same thing over and over again, or putting it in a different order or whatever, you know, that's not me. You know, like I'm original. I'm going to give you actual stuff. I'm not going to give you, you know, like stuff that you've already seen.
Yeah, and you've got the podcast as a platform now as well. I mean,
exactly.
I'll be playing the game exactly midnight for me, so the first podcast after that should be rather interesting, because, I mean, if we take a week to both play it, that's going to be a long podcast where we sit down and really go, right, did they F this up, or did they get this right?
Exactly. That's, you know, there's plenty of topics, like once you know, it comes out and everything like that. Right now, it's all speculation because we're just looking at videos and we're looking at gameplay. We're not looking at like anything like of substance. We're looking at
the best way to look at it is we're not looking at final code.
Exactly. When we look at what happened with Watch Dogs. Everybody saw Watch Dogs. Everybody was talking about Watch Dogs, and then what happened? Watch Dogs out of nowhere, like it didn't deliver. It didn't look the same and stuff like that.
Graphic downgrades, like that game was a shell of what it was shown at E3.
Exactly. So why, you know, like that's my thing. Like I'm not going to come out and you know, talk about a subject that yes, I'm reading your full paragraph and I'm saying that, you know, yes, as a YouTuber, as an Assassin's Creed streamer, you know, like I am going to be playing that game. I am going to be showing it off. But, you know, I'll do playthroughs. I'm going to do a bunch of playthroughs. I'm going to do a bunch of, like, glitch videos and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know, like, every time I find a secret, you know I'm going to find the secrets. You know I'm going to find all that stuff. You know I'm going to piss a lot of people off. I'm going to piss a lot of people off because they always get mad every time, like, I do, like, a glitch video. Take this down! Now everybody's going to know! No way!
I'm reporting you to Ubisoft.
Exactly. I'm telling Ubisoft on you! So, you know, like, you're not, you know, like, I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to tell you the same exact things that you've been seeing, you know? I guarantee you that there's, like, 15 other YouTubers that use the exact same footage, and they're saying the exact same things. They just don't want to say it exactly like the other person says. So they're trying to switch it up, or they even are saying it exactly like the other person says. You know? I'm not that guy. You know? Like, I'm really not. You know, I did a bunch of videos before Odyssey came out, and, you know, a lot of it was speculation, and a lot of people were, like, losing their minds. A lot of people, you know, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I doubt that's going to happen. Well, this is even now, the videos that I put up now, where I'm talking about Valhalla and stuff like that. Well, no, the developer said this. You know, like, my mother, you know, she's having relations with, she's in an entanglement with the head of the development squad, even though she's female, and this is what's going on.
He lives under the stairs under fucking Eve Gimo's office. Yeah, some of the stuff, man, that people come out with.
I did watch through all those playthroughs that were available, and you know, like I can't. I'm not going to speculate on a playthrough,
especially one that was being streamed.
Exactly. You know, I'm not going to speculate on a game through. Do you know how many games we actually get where, like, you see something in the beginning? I'll take you all the back to Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13, people, they saw, you know, like a bunch of like different gameplay for 13, and they thought that that's how the game was going to play, and you know,
they had to take that back to the drawing board. That one did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, from what I saw, it was interesting. But, you know, like, do you want reaction from me? Do you want me to just say, oh, this is beautiful, whatever, and everything? You know, I'm not going to hype up the game, and then it comes out and it's crap. Look what happened to Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, God, that was...
You know how many YouTubers got paid to say stuff about that game and everything, and they kicked themselves in the butt afterwards?
Yeah, quite a few of the streamers I watched did that. My Name is Bife for Destiny, and they all jump in on that hype, and then the game launched, and it just went... Yep.
Yeah, I've given my reaction in previous videos. I've actually done videos on Valhalla and my reaction, and my reaction is that so far, it looks good. I'm very impressed. I'm very excited for the Hidden Blade. I'm very excited for Return to Form. Recently, I did a video where I was talking about rumors and stuff like that. I'm very excited about the prospect of dual wielding, not just dual wielding weapons, but dual wielding shields. I'm very excited for the prospect of not just dual wielding weapons, but like the type of weapons that you've got. We've never had an Assassin's Creed where you actually could throw a weapon and then recover it. I've never seen something like that. But we've got that. We've got axes that you could throw, like these like small hand axes. You could toss them, and once you toss those axes, you could go recover them. You could throw it inside of somebody's body, and you could like, you know, go recover it, which is awesome.
Recover Ezio's throwing knives?
No, I mean you could, but like, you know, they were throwing knives. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like an actual weapon. Like, imagine you have like a legendary or epic weapon, and you throw that. And then you could go recover that.
But you could also do that in Brotherhood though, with axes and stuff.
I don't think you could. Oh well, yeah, but you couldn't keep them. Those are the weapons that were there.
You would lose them. Like, you could kill a big brute, take his axe, pick it up, throw it at another one, but you wouldn't be able to like hold it in your inventory or anything like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to like keep it, you know, like indefinitely.
So the idea is there though.
It is.
So with Valhalla, you really think this will be a return to form then?
Yeah, I absolutely do think it'll be a return to form. I think because, you know, we're going back to what's making sense. We're going back to the lore and everything like that. You know?
So let me blow your mind with a theory. What do you think's entailed in the season pass?
Season pass, I mean, obviously it's going to be, you know, like a couple of different things that, you know, I don't know, like we have to, honestly, I have to get to the game in order to tell you what I think the season pass will entail. Because the season pass, it's obviously going to take place in the same country, or maybe, you know, outlying countries, you know?
Well, let me throw a theory at you. So we know this game is meant to lead somewhat into the original Assassin's Creed Valkyrie, or at least finish in a time period relatively close.
Right.
What would you do if the DLC for Valhalla was a story that extended the Valhalla experience but actually brought you into the beginning days of Assassin's Creed 1? Where you have to go to Masyaf, or there's something you have to do and you have to race there. Because we know the assassins are here.
Right.
So I wonder, the fact that we know the Order of Ancients is in this, but we have now clearly seen Templar clothing in this game. So they're going to evolve. So could this game very much be the evolution from the Hidden Ones to the Assassins?
It's possible. It could be the transition. That would make a lot of sense. That honestly would make a lot of sense. You know, like you at some point they do have to become the assassins. And they have to like leave the whole hidden ones thing behind, remain hidden, but you know, at some point DLC like the word actually came out.
Yeah. The DLC could be that transition.
It could be. It could very well be. I think that would be like a great idea if it is, honestly.
But what do you do? The next Assassin's Creed though, what do you do? You've now gone full circle.
See, at that point, I think that what you would have to do is you would have to do like we've been saying before, where you have to look back at the lore you already have and
expand.
Yeah, and see where you can go next, what you can do next, because there has to be another story to tell. I mean, that's what these games are about. They're about stories. It's not just like some crazy race through history. It's also
I would play.
Yeah, it's also like a lot about what's going on. It all has an agenda.
Attention, all cultist base.
Well, like I was saying, I would play an Adam and Eve game.
Yeah, I would too.
They want to go back down that route, and they want to show us how that rebellion started, and the ultimate recovery of the apple, and them both escaping, and I would play that. It would give us a lot of backstory and a lot of stuff we're missing.
I think so. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think that we actually do need something like that.
And take it one step further. Bring Desmond back from the dead, because they have the capability of doing it, and then let him and Sean do what they originally planned and roll it all the way back as far as they could to get that game.
That would actually be wild. That would be an Assassin's game.
They've got a way to bring him back, and it baffles me that they've never done it.
Logan, I saw the same stuff that like everybody else has been seeing. I've seen, like the same exact gameplay that everybody saw. If you saw it, I saw it. If I saw it, you saw it.
The gameplay looked good.
There's nothing new that has come out. Except
the
for,
at the moment looks like Odyssey. The combat looks a little bit slower, but obviously a Viking's a little bit more weighed down. There's hidden blade action, which was sorely missing in Odyssey.
Yeah, there's shields back.
Other than that, I don't know what you like. We've not played it. We don't know. Like we've not played the intro, the opening missions, side missions. There's nothing we can tell you about the game other than it looks like Odyssey. The combat looks a bit slow. The hidden blade's back, but he's a Viking. Of course, the combat's going to be a bit slower. He's weighed down by heavy armor.
Yeah, look at this though. JP7 he brought up a good point. He says that he misses the puzzles like from the original Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, I miss the clay puzzles, man. I'll be honest with you. The two Brotherhood puzzles, I miss the clay puzzles.
I do too. No, the graphics, the graphics, obviously as it goes to the next gen consoles, you'll see improvement. But as far as like like regular improvements like on the current gen consoles, there is none. It's pretty much like the
same as Odyssey.
Yeah, it's the standard that Odyssey and Origins has already put out. Which that's their normal quality and everything, but as far as gameplay, like I want to see the controls. I want to experience the controls for myself. I want to see if they altered anything. I want to see if they made anything easier. Some people argue that Odyssey had the easiest, like controls and everything like that.
Absolutely not. Origins is tough, even to this day. Origins is quite a difficult combat system to get your head round. I find Odyssey very easy to play.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. Odyssey is easier. Like
Origins, that's difficult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously on PC there will be graphical improvements. Like PC is, like you have the specs. It's running more frames per second. So on PC, it's definitely going to look better. But like as far as console and everything, it's going to be standard.
Yeah, but PC versions of Ubisoft games are always capped at 60 as well, are they not?
Yeah.
So I mean, the only difference you're going to get is your ray tracing and maybe native 8K or something. I mean, I don't know what the differences between the PS4 and the PS5 version are, but I'm assuming they're going to be somewhat substantial, bit of ray tracing and a few other bits and bobs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm playing it on everything, Logan. I'm playing it on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And I'll even play it on the Nintendo Switch if it comes out on Switch.
Well, it might come out in streaming. Did they not do Assassin's Creed Odyssey streaming to Switch in Japan?
Really?
Yeah, I believe they did, because you can play Resident Evil on the Switch, but it's only in Japan and it's streamed to your Switch.
That's crazy.
But they never came out over here for some reason, but I do remember seeing stuff about that.
Yeah, when I see stuff like, like Doom Eternal is out on Switch and everything, or Doom, the Doom 2016 is out on the Switch.
Yeah, the Switch still blows my mind that it can play certain games.
Yeah. That's kind of wild. That is extremely wild.
Yeah, but I mean, with Valhalla, I think that story trailer for me, especially for somebody after Odyssey who was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this again. That story trailer made me go, whew, okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You know?
That dude, that was like absolutely crazy.
What's this then? Yeah.
That I'm telling you, like I can't wait to see like what happens. Honestly, like Logan, I play it on everything, Logan. I play every system. I own every system. I play on the PS4, yes, but like I have other systems as well. It's my job. It's what I do.
Even plays it on his Atari.
Exactly. On my Atari 2600.
You should see it. The cassette tape looks dope.
Exactly. It looks like a Transformer. It looks like Laserbeak. Circa 1983.
You've got to stick it all back together just to make it fit in the tape deck, man. It's cool.
That would be wild.
So what do you want to do? You want him to open this up? Let somebody jump in, have a wee blather,
let's open it up. Let's
let's
let everybody come in. That would be absolutely awesome. Hold on one second. Let me start opening this up, because we definitely want to hear from you guys as well. We want to know exactly what's going on. What are your thoughts? You guys could jump in and just give us everything. Give us what you're thinking. So.
And if you don't agree with us, throw it at us. We're all children here. We can fight in the playground.
Exactly. That will be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And that's what I want. I want, like I really enjoy like, having everybody, just like last week, we had, who was it? I forget his name already. But he was pretty cool.
I added him as a friend. He was like, we had a wee conversation afterwards and whatnot, and he seems like a pretty cool guy. He does like his Assassin's Creed, like.
Yep. All right, so there we go. I'm online. Just anybody who is on PS4 currently, or you have the app, like feel free to like hop in and join us and tell us what your thoughts are. Let us know what you want to talk about, like, or what you think of like any of the topics currently. Because I'm telling you, Valhalla, I really do have a feeling that this is going to be like an intense kind of game. Like I really do. I feel, like I feel pretty good about it being something, like absolutely wild. I think that they've got like something, like they got something going. They got something going.
Well,
it's going to be a return to form. It's going to be.
I hope it is, and I have to say, I will not be playing as the female
time round. But at the same time, I want to ask: do we know who the canon character is this time round?
The canon character.
Yeah. So we had Alexos and Cassandra. Like,
yeah, you could chat through the app, JP.
I mean, at the same time, Cassandra was a better character, all-round voice actor and everything anyway, but do we know who the canon character is for Valhalla?
For Valhalla, that is, I don't know. It's supposed to be Ivor himself. It's supposed to be
yeah, but they're both called Ivor. They're both called the same name.
Yeah, yeah. It's supposed to be the male version though.
Right. Cool. Because the female version sounds like she smokes about 60 a day.
That is just crazy. I mean, possibly. Like we don't know. Like the female version. I mean, I've heard some stuff with the female version. Like she sounds like a smoker, or a heavy smoker, or whatever. Yeah. Like
she's got a really rustic voice, man. When she talks, you're like Alexios. Like you remind me of Alexios. You're like the character the developers didn't want, so they just gave you any voice actor.
Yeah. That in fact, like I find it kind of funny because they were saying that Alexios was in the studio doing the guy who did the voice. He was doing some more voice work and stuff like that, but you know, like we don't know what voice work he was doing and everything.
Well,
maybe he was doing her voice. I don't know.
Well, it couldn't have been for Valhalla because Cassandra is the canon character.
I don't know. I don't know.
Although I do think we're going to see Bayek definitely in this game now. I think there's going to be a sequence where the assassins are explaining to Eivor where they came from. And he's going to sit the way Connor sat with the apple. Remember at the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3 where he sat with the apple and he had that moment with the old woman teacher who was explaining to him about how his destiny was different and stuff like that?
Right.
I think that's what's going to happen with Eivor, and I think he's going to have a conversation with Bayek.
Yeah, Lagarde Sombre. I play on like every single platform. That's kind of my job. So like, I own every single platform. I pre-ordered every single platform. You know, this is what I do. I have to, because you know, like I can't give you guys fair assessments on anything if I'm not playing on everything, and I can't, you know, play like the games that you're playing if I'm not on your platform.
Yeah. And glitches can be on different platforms as well, you know.
Exactly.
You can have a glitch on PC that's not available on console.
I gotta find it all. It's like the original Doom. There's a secret that you could only get on the PC version of Doom. You can't get it on the other platforms. I'm not gonna go into specs. Come on, you guys are expecting too much now.
He's running a potato attached to a jack strip.
Exactly.
He makes YouTube
I'm
videos,
running a
man.
Commodore 64. I'm running 64 bits of RAM. I know that we have pocket watches that have more RAM than that right now.
I'm pretty sure Apollo 11 got to the fucking moon on more than that.
On a scientific calculator. That's how he got there.
Listen, they got to the moon in a space shuttle that had less wattage than a fucking toaster, but yet Elon Musk needs a rocket.
Exactly.
The size of a fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
No, I know my specs. I'm trying to talk about other things. I'm not talking about PCs. We'll do a PC segment one day.
You hear women pissing herself with laughter in the background, like.
I'm telling you, like, it's freaking crazy over here.
Nobody's joining? We're bored in Strider. Nobody likes us.
Yeah, I guess not. Not today. Looks like. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, like there's you know, like as far as you know, like Valhalla goes, like I can't wait to see, you know, like how they get into it, how it begins. I can't wait to see, you know, like his development as a character, as like a person and everything.
Well, I think he becomes an assassin, and I think that was hinted on in that story trailer. If you look at that last couple of seconds, he pulls that hood up over his head.
Yeah.
I really do think he starts as a Viking, but I think his story ends as an assassin now.
And that would be great. I would love to see something like that.
I hope I'm not looking too much into that trailer, but as an Assassin's Creed fan, there was lots of ooh moments for me.
Hell yeah.
And that bit at the end where he's standing on that church tower and he pulls that hood over his head and then he looks at the camera, I just thought, hell yeah.
I'm telling you, that was like absolutely amazing.
So I think we start as a Viking, but I think we end as an assassin.
I'm telling you, I would love to see that, honestly.
This boy's really pushing this PC thing, isn't he?
I know. I think this is an alternate account for that Logan guy.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, you play on many platforms. You only see. Well, how do you only see him on the PS4 interface? When I watch his videos, it's not there.
Yep, it definitely is. Okay.
He's trolling you, boy.
Yeah. I got a solution for that.
Ta-ta!
Exactly.
Oh my god, my kids are talking to Alexa. All I can hear is the voice booming through my roof.
Danny. Yeah, that's just like, you know what, like, I don't mind answering questions, but like, you know, like, I hate being annoyed. Like, it's like freaking aggravating. Like, I'm trying to put, you know, that's kind of like that Dark Mystery Boy. There was this guy, Dark Mystery Boy, and he would come on here and he would say all kinds of stuff and everything. He'd demand that I give him a shout out, like, live and stuff like that, and talking about like things that don't pertain to anything, and I was just like, oh my god.
Hey, listen, they want shout-outs when I start streaming and stuff at the end of the year when I do my Destiny stuff. It's not going to happen. My kids are going to come into the living room, they're going to drag me away from the chair, and they're going to be watching a fucking seat for about an hour.
Yeah, it's just, it's kind of crazy. Like, it, you know, like oh god. It's like nuts. I was actually in like this Facebook group, and like, they were like a bunch of fans and everything, and they were psychotic. After a while, they were all like cool and everything, and then they just got toxic. They were like fighting with each other, and I was like, what is going
on? Some people are just crazy though, man.
I'm telling you, I was like, holy crap. I was like, okay, you guys are toxic, I gotta go, bye. You know, like, it was just nuts. Exactly. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, you know.
I'm a way to play Assassin's Creed here. Thanks very much.
Exactly. Like, wow. Like, you know, like, I mean, how many times could you, in all honesty, how many times could you watch the same exact footage and like all these guys are saying the same exact thing over the footage and everything? Oh, this looks freaking fantastic, and I speculate that this is going on, and this is what's happening, and, you know, oh my god, you could kind of see Ivor's penis, and, you know, the girl has a penis, so maybe, you know, like I kind of see like a little bit, you know, like, it's just like, what? Come on, man. I'll get to it when I get to it.
You know what, man? This is the world we live in now, man. If you're not a female or and born with a penis, or a male and born with a vagina, you just don't fit in.
Exactly. Like, this is what they want to see. This is what they're expecting from me. Like, you know, what do you think of this?
To get back on topic, to get back on Assassin's Creed, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to think about it, and I want your honest answer. If Ubisoft came to you as an Assassin's Creed fan and says, we want a story concept, and we want it from you, you speak to your fans daily, what do they want? What would you pitch?
That is a very good question, because like, different people want different things. Like, in all honesty, there is a lot of people out there that really don't feel that we need a present day. They really don't. They don't feel that the present day should be.
I'm part of that since Desmond left. I have to admit, I feel like present day is a waste of investment at this time.
Yeah, you know, like, I kind of feel like the present day is needed. We just kind of have to find the right person.
Okay.
Desmond dying.
You're pitching a new game, though. We're not talking present day. We're pitching an Assassin's Creed game.
Okay, so we're gonna go into the past.
Right.
I agree with.
We can go into present day, but let's look at the actual Creed itself. What would you pitch?
You know what? I say we go to the start. We go to the Isu. We go to an Adam and Eve style game. We go to like how it all started. Let's get a creation myth going on the Isu themselves. Who are they really? What are they? We know that like they've been worshipped as gods and everything like that. So let's go into like how they came to be, how they came to exist. What is going on? Are they an alien race, or have they always been here? What's happening here? How did they even think of creating man? You know, go into that, and then go into the rebellion of Adam and Eve. Why did they rebel? What was going on? Why was there a problem? Why did we treat them the way that we did? Throw Juno in there. Throw all of those people in there. Throw like a lot of the old characters that we saw in a lot of the original Assassin's Creed games when they were first trying to give us the mythos of what was going on. Because it's not just the war between Templars and Assassins. It's also between, the third behind the scenes kind of ranks are the Isu. Because people want the Isu secrets. So why? What were they? What was going on? That's what I would pitch. Let's go there. And then if you don't want to give us, like a present day, it would make sense. That would make sense to not have a present day.
What would you have as the game itself? So that's your backstory.
Right.
What time period would you place your assassin, and why?
Like biblical creation.
Okay.
Biblical creation. Start there. And then, work your way from there. Work your way how everything was created, what went down. Give us like a history. Give us puzzles where they're uncovering the secrets, and that's how they discover, like their true destiny, the humans, and stuff like that, Give us stuff like that, and then let us run wild with it. Let's see where this goes.
So, here's a theory for you. Assassin's Creed. An origin story, not origins of the Brotherhood, but origins of everything.
Right.
It starts in ancient Samaria with the final two of the Isu. The last two living Isu in a city of surviving humans, ancient Samaria. The Isus are picked up by their own race, who are the Anunnaki.
Right.
Okay? They go home, leaving humans on Earth. There's your Earth creation story. Adam and Eve has happened by this point, obviously.
Right.
The priest has stopped.
They're taken home. The ancient Sumerians become the first, I suppose, civilization of humanity. They invent the toilet, the sewage systems, etc., writing. And we move forward from there, from a Sumerian essentially back in the past to a present day character from ancient Samaria. Somebody who knows his heritage, but has that DNA that can go all the way back. And not just all the way back to Adam and Eve, but all the way back to the day of the arrival.
That would be wild. That would absolutely be wild. That right there would definitely be an AC game.
But
that would be...
Here's my thing. The gameplay is present day. The Animus is used for information and information only. To go back to the beginning, to find out something, to put what is in the future together as one.
Now that's interesting.
Reverse the Animus. Stop using the Animus as the gameplay. Use it as the cinematics and the story element, and bring present day into the centerfold and make it the story you want to be invested in.
That actually could work, because if you think about it, you're going into current territory.
Yeah.
That actually is interesting. You're going backwards. It makes sense. I could see that. I mean, they have to give us origin at some point. But at some point they have to give us a present day game. They're going to run out of time periods. They are, but okay, so now let me ask you a question. Like, would it be okay to return to a pay period that we already went to? Maybe, like a kind of a sequel to, like, let's say Altair. We go back to Altair's time. There's something that he didn't finish or he started or whatever. Like another story to tell with him. Or we could play as an alternate character who, you know, ended up, you know, like in the same time period, you know, like kind of like they did with Connor and the other one from Liberation, like, you know, where they were basically in the same time period, they just had different missions that they were accomplishing.
Or you could do it differently, and you could say be playing a Templar during the time period of Ezio, but your story takes place in completely different parts of Italy, but while you're doing your game you hear stories of this assassin who is really bringing down like a wrath on the order.
Yeah, see, I did a video on that. I said, would we benefit from an Assassin's Creed game where you're playing as a Templar? And a couple of people like enjoyed it.
We got that with Shay Patrick Carmack though in Assassin's Creed Rogue, did we not? I mean, fair enough, he was an assassin first, but he did become a Templar.
Right.
So we kind of got that. So we've had that Templar fantasy within an Assassin's Creed game to a point. We've not had that, like, you know what, you're going to play as the fucking Grand Master, you're going to have to make the hard choices here. But at the same time, I don't know if I want that.
Because, like, you know, like, honestly, like, yeah, we played as an assassin that became a Templar. But what if we played as an actual Templar who, you know, like, is on a mission to do, you know, like, whatever?
Listen, if you want to give me a full game completely revolved around Haytham and his early adventures, I'm game. You get the same voice actor back in there, you give me that shit next gen, I will play that. I would have played Assassin's Creed 3 all the way through with Haytham. Connor was so dull.
I think that, you know, like, as far as Connor went, Connor, they really made him out to be kind of like old Hollywood, the way old Hollywood saw Native Americans, you know, like the way he spoke and everything. He didn't sound intelligent, you know?
The problem with Connor was every 3 words out of his mouth was, "Where's Charles Lee?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like, nobody fucking cares where Charles Lee is, man. Like, just get on with your life.
I'm telling you, yeah, he was like looking for him hard. I don't know, like, you know, it all.
But you give me a full game with Haytham, I would have played that shit all day. I'll be honest with you. See, when I realised with Assassin's Creed 3 that it went, because the great thing about Assassin's Creed 3 is back then, like, YouTube really wasn't as big as what it was, so I wasn't watching trailers. It was like, oh, there's a new Creed game, I'll grab that.
Right.
So for me, like, I got invested as hell with Haytham, and then it's like, you are a Templar, and then you become this little boy, and I'm like, shit. Like, I was having such fun with Haytham.
Yeah, they did, yeah, and the basically the tutorial levels when you're playing as Connor and everything, like, it was kind of crazy. To me, it was just kind of like drawn out. You know, you're doing all these things. It was just like filler, you know?
See, I remember the achievement popping on the Xbox when you find out about Haytham being a Templar, and it just goes, and it just says, "How'd you like them apples?"
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Like, it's the one achievement from Assassin's Creed 3 I remember, because I remember looking at it and going, "You bastards."
See, we need more of that. We need more of that, like, you know, kind of like head jerking, like, they mess you up out of nowhere. You're just like, oh my god.
That's when Ubisoft wasn't afraid to take risks, and now they seem very just narrow-minded in what they want to do. Every game's got to be the same. It's got to be open world with shit tons of stuff to do to overwhelm the player. And
yeah, speaking of which, somebody who was playing Odyssey, I had I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups for, you know, like different systems and everything like that, and I forget which system it was that the person was playing, and they had just picked up Odyssey, and they said, or not Odyssey, Origins, and they said, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game. Is this what the game is? Like, it just seems overwhelming. I'm going all over the place, you know, I'm doing all this stuff and everything. But, you know, to me... But
then Origins was the first time they did a country and not just really a town.
Yeah, they did an entire map. But, you know, like, to be fair, honestly, if you know, like, you were overwhelmed by that, you obviously never played an Elder Scrolls game. Because Elder Scrolls, like you don't even by the time you're like 30 hours in, you don't even know what your original mission was.
Well, I've been playing Skyrim in VR, and I've played it about 30 hours, and I don't even think I'm about 10% into that game, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't even know what your original mission was. You don't even know what you're doing. You're picking up a wife. You're doing all this stuff. You're living in a town and stuff.
Direction.
Yeah, you're like by 30 hours in, people are like, "What's the game about?" And you're like, "I don't know." There's dragons.
I woke up and oh, I didn't even wake up. I was sitting in the back of a cart. A dragon came in. I ran like fuck, and then all of a sudden I'm here.
And like every soldier was going to be a adventurer, but they took an arrow to the knee, and like stuff like that. Like it's like, like if you're not used to like the PC or RPG style games and everything like that, you're not going to get Origins. You're not going to get Odyssey.
Are you like me when you play through games like Origins and Odyssey then? Do you do just the main story arc? Do you run right through it? Or do you do everything in between, like all the little places, all the side missions until you're leveled to the point of the mission? Or do you just do everything until you can't proceed until you do a main mission?
I do everything. I do everything that's possible.
I'm the same.
Shirakabocha knows. I do every damn thing.
Yeah, do you know it took me 3.5 hours just to get off the first island in Odyssey?
Yeah, I believe it.
It took me 3.5 hours just to see the title screen.
By the time I got off that island, I was level 11. I did everything there was to do on that island.
See, I bought the boosters. I saw they were selling boosters. I was like, right, okay, they're going to grind my fucking rank in here. They're not selling boosters any other way, so I bought that booster, so I think I was like ranked 17 or 18 by the time I got off island.
That is crazy.
So
no, it takes me forever. Like when I play Valhalla, I'm gonna do everything. And the thing is, though, to that credit, that's how you find like the best glitches, because you see stuff that like you weren't supposed to see.
Yeah, especially those places where you would run in and then all of a sudden you'd frame drop to 1 frame a second and it would take you 20 minutes to run out of that fucking area. Just to get your frame rate back to normal.
No, I've got a friend who actually he speed runs through the games. And not because he's a speedrunner, just because he wants to get to the end. Just because he wants to like tell everybody he beat it. He wants to be the first one to say, yeah, I beat this game. And the thing is that like by the time he finishes the game, he really doesn't know what he retained. He doesn't know what he saw. So like when we're talking about the game and I say, oh yeah, man, you remember when this happened in the game? He's like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, what? You don't remember that? So he's like, when was that?
When he gets his new game plus, he gets to experience all over it again, but at a nice steady pace.
Yeah, when I get to the new game plus, I take my time. That's why like somebody commented on one of my recent videos and they were like, are there like sections of this map that you aren't even looking at? Like, and I'm like, yeah, this is like my 5th new game plus. Like, why?
I did that with Origins, purely just for the armor set that you got which was something they should have done with bloody Odyssey, but didn't. Yeah,
see, Danny, that I agree with you, man. Did he really beat it at that point? If he just speed ran through it, and he didn't experience anything.
You do not beat Assassin's Creed till you're 100% sync.
Exactly.
And to get 100% sync in Odyssey took me, my game time at the moment is, and I looked at it earlier on because I loaded it up just for the shits and giggles, I'm sitting at 547 hours played on Odyssey.
I have over, right now, I'm close to...
That's my Uplay count.
I'm close to 3,000 game hours on Odyssey.
Yeah, that does. You gotta make videos though, so that doesn't surprise me. But see me, just as a single player gamer who experienced it myself, I did 549 hours.
That's pretty outrageous.
And I can tell you now, I've played Destiny maybe 3 times that. I've been playing Destiny for 7 years.
That is pretty wild. That is a lot.
But as a single, I mean, I've done Odyssey 3 times now.
That's crazy. Yeah, it makes me nuts, like how many times I've done Odyssey, like, and then like all the different save files I've got like a super save file where it's like the OP, that's the one I usually show off, and then like y'all need Jesus and a pee break.
The one thing I like about Origins, though, is when you get to that New Game Plus, you can beat that story in 8 hours. If you want to just sit down on a Saturday morning on New Game Plus on Origins and just run the story, you can do that in 8 hours easily.
Oh, that's what we were doing when they had that new content, when they had that when they first did the New Game Plus.
Yeah, that's what I did. As soon as that new costume was available, I ran through it on New Game Plus the very same day.
That was pretty wild.
And then I had to do all the ancient stuff to get the eagle, the white eagle.
Oh yeah. Well, there was a way you could speed run through that too. You didn't even have to like pay attention to like everything that they were saying.
That's true.
You could just go through.
That's true. I do still think that story is one of the best they've had. Although I do believe Bayek was screwed with the end of that game. I don't think Bayek got a good ending. I think Aya got the good ending.
Yeah.
You know, Bayek never really got an ending. He just kind of dropped the skull in the sand, and it revealed the assassin symbol and the origins of it. And
yeah, and then that started off the whole thing.
Then it went and then it was
just that's why I say to me it looked like Aya was the one who started the order, because you know they reference her a lot.
And she's displayed in the auditory villa. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no sign of Bayek. I mean, Bayek started the order, so where the fuck is his statue?
Exactly.
You know, why have you got Amunet?
Well, that's why, Bayek. Like, you know, like a lot of people got confused over that.
Yeah, and plus, why was there bloody tomb in a completely different thing, but yet it's meant to be next to Bayek?
Well, the theory behind that is that that's not really her tomb, you know?
Yeah, it was like a place of worship, or a place they could go and do their thing.
Yeah. It was kind of like weird the way that they had set that up and whatnot, you know. So it was kind of weird, kind of weird.
Well, the story trailer for Valhalla has given me a little bit of faith here. I saw exactly what I needed to see. I saw an assassin stronghold, I saw an assassin, I saw what was clearly a Templar. And for me, that's what an Assassin's Creed needs to be. You know, it's not people pretending to be assassins or just looking like assassins and shagging everything in sight from goats to whatever fucking turns them on at the time of hour.
Right.
Like, that was one of the most horrendous scenes I ever saw when you were playing as Cassandra and you go to that little get-together and Al-Qabaidis opens the door and the fucking goat comes running out going, Mah! And
yeah, I was like, what the hell is this?
I was like, what? And he's like, do you care to join? I'm like, hell no.
Yeah, that was extreme. I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, what is this game going for, man?
That's what I'm saying. That was insane. Hold on one second, because after this, we got like the Discord going. So
yeah, definitely, we need to get that link out.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it going with the Discord. But hold on, I'm about to put in the Discord server right here. So there you guys go. That's the Discord. Jump on that, because like right after the podcast ends, we keep it going there. You know, like I still make videos and I'm still jumping on there. I'm still looking over there. You guys could harass me about, like my PC specs there. And anything else you want to jump in and talk about, because...
Yeah, but here, no, we don't just want your specs. We want pictures.
Exactly. We want pictures. We want, like an affidavit from the company that made it.
We want the receipt and your insurance number.
We want receipts. We want a signature from Lady Strider that she witnessed it, and all kinds of stuff like that.
And that this is not a dream.
I'm telling you, all kinds of fun. So like everybody, like that's the Discord server. Like feel free to jump on now, because I mean we're looking at it like now while we're talking right now. But like also. Like afterwards, you guys get to like talk with us, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Oh, let me be perfectly clear. This is not Obama, but I do like a good Assassin's Creed game.
Oh my fucking god. That's ridiculously good. Yeah, that was ridiculously good.
I just want to say, so that there is no further speculation or miscommunications or anything like that, I am not Obama, but I do love me some Assassin's Creed games.
Honestly Christ, that is bad.
Let me tell you honestly, you know, when I get away from Hillary, I actually love to go and play me some Assassin's Creed. I love me some Dark Strider, the YouTube assassin, that little sexy mother. Let me tell you something.
And while I watch that YouTube assassin, I get my dick sucked under my dick.
While I'm watching the YouTube assassin, I call Monica over, you know, because she knows how to do the thing, unlike Hillary, but, you know.
She doesn't know how to make buns, but she damn sure knows how to use them.
She doesn't know what to do with that cigar, you know.
Oh my god, see, that just puts images in the head. You did not need to go there.
Look at Sal, he's like, hell.
Hidden blade my ass, yeah, it's not so much fucking hidden when you're bleeding out your arse, is it?
Exactly.
Honestly, God.
Absolute madness, absolute madness. Hi ho, this is Kermit the Frog, and I'm coming to you live outside of the YouTube assassin's home, where he's playing all kinds of things, and...
For fuck's sake.
And the funny thing is that there are so many people that say, you know, like I sound like other people. I actually, I want to do a raid of like this one guy's Minecraft channel. He actually, like, me and him really do sound alike. I was like, oh my god. So like, you know, like people have told me, you know, people have asked me if I was somebody who made like those sculptures with like melted aluminum and like sand, and I was like, no. And they were like, yeah, this guy sounds exactly like you. So he gave me the link. I looked at it and everything. I spoke to like this dude, and I was like, oh my god, like this guy really does sound like me. I played it for my son. I told him, I says, who is this guy? He's like, that's you. And I'm like, no, it's not. It turned around as this, you know, as this black gentleman who's doing these videos on creating you know, like things out of sand and melted aluminum. I was like, holy crap.
That's crazy.
I'll tell you, that is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Having way too much fun here.
Yep, my eyes are definitely wet now anyway.
See, what's happening is you're having a good time. You know you are. That's what happens on the Silent Strider podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately that depends. It depends on the airline you choose with that, man.
Alright, well that's all the time we've got for today, but we're going to keep it going, guys, on the Discord server. I just dropped the link there for you guys. Feel free to jump on, give us your opinions, say whatever you want. You know, it's for everybody. You know, we want you guys to join. You guys are staying there. It's good eternally. So even after we are done here, you can stay on the server, you can stay on the Discord, and just keep the thing going whenever you want. Whenever you feel like talking. If any of us are available to answer, we'll answer. You know, we're cool like that. You know, just so that there's no further speculation or instigation. That you will enjoy it. Mitt Romney won't, but you will. So, jump on, have a good time, let's keep it going, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy, y'all.